Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Look at that, we have the camera up. I ended up getting my desk yesterday and we have a lot to talk about going into today, so make sure to tune in because at the end of this video we will be giving a 15-minute breakdown. Yesterday I must overdid it with all the work that I was doing, helping out with baby girl. Everything that I did really just made me really tired, and then I put together the desk as well. So I did have to take a little break because I almost passed out down here. I literally started seeing black spots. I went upstairs and I slept for like an hour and a half on my couch because I was not feeling the best. But we're going to do a little breakdown right here in the beginning of this video. Make sure to note that the course is still $100 as of right now. So you have $100 for that course, okay? That's just if you want to learn, but if you're here to learn over time, that's perfectly fine. Just might take a little longer. The course is how you can get all of the info cut and dry right in front of you. It gives some stuff that I do not talk about live a lot. Risk management is one of the things that we don't go exactly how to do on YouTube, but you can find that out over in the course for $100. So thank you guys so much, and you can see my face. I know, are we glad? Like for the face cam is back. We have nothing behind me as of right now. Nothing behind me as of right now, but I got some stuff to hang up. We're just trying to finish out the basement. So I did get my new desk. I put that together. It almost made me pass out with all the work that I did yesterday, and whew, I was not feeling well, but that's okay. We're feeling good now. We slept decent. We kind of went upstairs and passed out, took a little nap, and we were able to get this fully set up today. So I'm very happy about that. Now looking over at some things here today, I just want to make sure things are set up correctly. Set up correctly. There we go. Let's get over to YouTube, and then we're going to start our breakdown in 2 seconds. So make sure to like as you come in so more people can show up to this live video, more people can learn about some technical analysis. Right now, the first thing I really wanted to talk about was the fact that Roaring Kitty is apparently being attacked as of right now. And he is overall being attacked, trying to say he needs to go to jail. He's doing some kind of market manipulation. There is nothing illegal. There is nothing illegal about buying a stock with your own money, taking a trade with your own money, and telling people about that trade. There's nothing illegal about it. People do it all the time. Bigger people than Roaring Kitty do it all the time. Congress people do it all the time. And well, Congress people don't do it all the time, but we see that they still trade these stocks. So if anything, it's, people in government who are doing something illegal. But I wanted to mention how I told you that more parts of the system will be rigged. And what did we see with the whole Donald Trump thing? If anything, he had like one misdemeanor, a couple misdemeanors. There was nothing he should really be totally going to jail for. And now they're going to probably do the same thing to Roaring Kitty. I just wanted to mention that. We've already seen how the justice system has been used to be rigged. And now we are going to see that most likely come forward again. Now, that's just my take on it. I don't know how it will play out. It could play out differently for him, but that's what I'm paying attention to as of right now. Now, we have to talk about this pump at the end of the day. Yes, it should have ended up. XLU still trying to pull back. We were overall talking about in the SPY how we should be probably creating some kind of divergences down here, something to pull back. But we talked about how the PCC level was not high enough to really push to the call side here. Okay, they want you to believe the market is going down. And so now this thing that we were talking about is happening. So let's do some stock market analysis here. The SPY starting off the day. Let's go into a 30-minute chart here, 2-hour chart actually. Let's go into a 2-hour. You notice that is crossed. That is a good sign. You're not in positive territory yet. We still could have more work to do to really confirm this as a base before we actually want to head higher. And give me a little bit of slack. The setup's a little bit different than my old one. And I'm not used to like looking up this high. My computer screen is like right in front of my face, which is very interesting, but I'll get used to it. And I have a new mouse, and we have the camera set up. There's a lot of good things going on for today's stream, so that's awesome. Now, what are we paying attention to here? Well, it was able to cross up. It is able to go positive. That's the big deal here. Don't think for a second that the 30-minute can't curl down and create some kind of divergence down here. It can. I think they're trying to bait people into the put side so they can push Nvidia up. And what are we noticing this morning? Nvidia is remaining a little bit stronger than the others. The Qs, what do we want to pay attention to? And by the way, those daily expected moves, take them with a grain of salt. They were very big. Usually when you see a daily expected move this big, it kind of has trouble getting to one of those areas, but we can still pay attention. This one's up towards the weekly expected move. So 533.89 to the upside and 521.71 to the downside. We'll pay attention to this today, but as it is a very, very big move, I have to be a little bit skeptical about that. A 6-point move on a daily expected move is a little bit like, we might want to take that with a grain of salt. Q, similar story, right? 30-minute just now going positive. You see that starting to flip. If that wants to, it could roll over and go down to 442. We can go test the weekly. We can go test the daily. The dailies are sitting at 460.30 and 445.96 for the Q. So don't think that we can't roll over. This is how you stay risk managed. You have to pay attention to multiple charts. Now, the 2-hour has not curled up yet, so you don't even have confirmation on the Qs yet of trying to test this high or going to make a new one as of right now, and that's very important to understand. We do not have that. Now, I think that may come, but remember the Qs can make a lower high. What are we noticing out of XLU right now? Well, we have the 2-hour that is up into positive territory, but it looks like it could roll over. If that rolls over, then maybe there's more work to be done and the SPY is going to see some kind of drop. Now, the other side to that is we have a 30-minute that is positive and close to the center line, which just tells me, hey, this could just turn right back around. This could just pretty much be a swing trade for XLU, so we'll pay attention to that as well. Apple, what are we noticing? A little bit of weakness early on in the day here. Like I said, we can experience some kind of pullback and get some kind of 30-minute divergence up here. We talked about that a little bit, how it would be nice for Apple to do something like this. Give us a divergence. We need to see weakness forming in order to take a trade, and that's why I did not take the Nvidia trade yet. I'm still being patient. Being patient is a very important thing. But this is what I noticed for Apple here, and then the 2-hour is creating that divergence, that firm divergence down here if you wanted to see that. And then really, if you want it to be the clearest, you could go all the way up to a 4-hour. If this thing curls up, it's going to create a very simple divergence on the 4-hour outside of the weekly expected move, and that will be something to pay attention to. Something very much so you should be paying attention to. Tesla, this one is the wonkiest one. I've been saying this for a long time. We have the potential to pop up, go to a weekly expected move, maybe make a 2-hour divergence, but it's not going to look clean. So am I going to take a trade on Tesla? Most likely not. But Tesla does have the opportunity for some weakness here. Now you can see when I sneeze. We're still in a pullback technically for Tesla. Okay, we're still in a pullback technically for Tesla right now. That is something to understand. But Tesla is green in the pre-market, so that is very interesting. We're going to see wonky behavior, and the last thing about the wonky behavior I wanted to talk about was, do you guys remember those big drops? Do you guys remember the Berkshire Hathaway, Chipotle, Gold? You guys remember all of those seeing that 99% drop, and we were seeing glitches in the system. Now, I was just saying to everyone live, I was like, well, as of right now, it's a glitch, right? It's just a glitch. Nothing to worry about there. It's just a glitch. But then you kind of put the dots together and you say, oh, well, last time they got a lot of flack for halting GME and AMC and doing a bunch of crazy things during that upward run. And now they maybe don't want the backlash. They maybe don't want people thinking like, oh, they're just attacking GME and AMC. So what do? I think that those glitches were planned now. I've done a little bit of research into it. I've heard some other people's take, and I think it makes total sense. You have a good looking, yeah, I used to be a model. Anyway, Amazon is another one we can talk about. The daily could curl up and we could create that lower high that lower high that we were talking about. Now the 30 minutes going to be telling it's still in negative territory. It's trying to create positive. We'll see what happens with this, but is it the best trade setup in the world? Not really. It could just rotate right back down and create some kind of stronger base. That can happen. Okay, I want you to be open to that. These things can happen. So we just want to pay attention and we want to react. Now the 2-hour is what you're paying attention to today. What are we seeing down here? A tiny bit of green. So the likelihood of crossing over right away on the 30-minute, a little bit less likely when you do see that first green impression on the histogram for a 2-hour chart. A little bit likely to see some kind of upward move and then you get a 30-minute pullback. We'll be paying attention to Amazon, but I'm still thinking some kind of lower high comes in for Amazon this week or maybe going into next week. So what are we noticing across the board though? Well, GME and AMC are selling off. Nvidia is holding up higher. This is what I'm paying attention to. This is where I will take a trade. The hourly has already curled up. I told you guys I would take this trade and I would show you how to manage it. So we'll pay attention to this, but as of right now, this just looks like it's testing the high. I think it could go a little bit higher. I think it could go as high as 1200, maybe even today or tomorrow, and then we see that ripped away. So if we're going to see setups like this, I started posting Nvidia there just to show you guys like, hey, this is a setup. No, it is manipulated, but this is a pretty clear setup at this point. If we can push a little bit higher, that setup would be very clear on an hourly chart. It may even be very clear on a 2-hour chart. We do get data this morning. We're going to look at that after we get through these stocks. What do we notice down here for AMD? Well, the 30-minute was able to curl up, got a little bit of a higher low right around our 160.83. So that's something to pay attention to. Now the work could not be done and we curl back down for a moment and then we curl back up, right? We can test this level again. Maybe a little 5-minute divergence in here would tell you something about that. But we'll notice that what is the big signal we're paying attention to? The 2-hour. If the 2-hour is able to cross up for a moment, right, we see some big push and then that is rug pulled, well, you could get some kind of triple divergence between this point right here, okay? This point right here, if you create the multiple point divergence or a triple divergence, either way, it's not looking pretty for AMD. The reason it's not looking pretty for AMD is because you are so close to the center line. If this curls over for a couple days, it means bad things for AMD. We may head down towards the 200. We may break through it. Okay, so let's pay attention out there. Meta looks awful as well. It still has not gone into positive territory yet. Look at that. It's trying to today. So this is where I said this week, Meta looks like it might flash into positive territory, get people excited, but you're paying attention. You're paying attention to these signals. And as of right now, we have a 2-hour divergence that if that just turned over, that would not be good for Meta. Now we might go a little bit higher, go test that weekly expected move. Maybe we see a little 30-minute divergence in there. We're paying attention, and that's the biggest thing, right? We pay attention, we formulate some scenarios, and then whatever the charts tell us is what we do. If we do not see those scenarios play out, if we don't see the setup, I don't take a trade. I don't take a trade. I would not use the buy and sell indicator. I'm just going to turn off the buy and sell portion of that indicator right now because everyone asks about it and it is not important at all. It is not important at all, but if you want it, you just type this right here, SMA 950, 180, and it'll pop up, buy, sell. You can just type this, all this right here, and then there's my settings for it right there. So I use a 550 and a 227. 20 is my EMA, all the others are SMAs. And then at the same time, I switch this to a 9 when volatility goes up. I switch the 5 to a 9. Okay, I would highly encourage you not to just buy and sell based on that indicator. It is not right all of the time. It's actually not even right probably half of the time, right? So you want 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade like we talk about in the course. It's down in the description. I highly encourage you to not trust an indicator telling you to buy and sell, but you can trust the indicator of a strategy where you know when all of those are lining up. That's the key thing, when everything is lining up at the same time. So Meta, I think it has the opportunity to go a little bit higher. Let's look at this 30-minute. You see how it's up here in positive territory. What if that just curls down and then curls back up and we see a 30-minute divergence here? That would be a form of weakness. And I do have a new mouse, so give me a little slack today. I'm not going to be as quick. But if that just curls down like this, curls right back up, divergence will be there. So pay attention if this curls down, curls right back up into positive territory. We'll see what happens, but it may just make that move right away. We get some data in a little bit. Microsoft, we're going to talk about this for a minute. This looks like a higher low to me, and it looks like that is going to try to go positive. We reject the crossing on the 30 minutes, so I want to see the 2-hour curls up. Okay, if this 2-hour can curl up, then you have a chance to go higher, but just watch out for some kind of lower high. Okay, because we can just pop up briefly and then roll right back over. And I think that is a likely scenario for Microsoft at that level. Google, similar story, but I think Google does have a chance to go hit a new high. So we'll pay attention to that, but we can pay attention to our weekly expected moves. If we just get up in this area, we're going to be outside of that weekly expected move at this high. So I think we have an opportunity for some kind of double top. But around that area, you still have to be aware of a 30-minute chart and see this pulled down for some kind of overall cupping with that handle, right? We are always aware of multiple scenarios. It will really help you out as a trader, and it will encourage you to be risk managed. Netflix was a big one that we were paying attention to, and this was because it had a bunch of 2-hour divergences. Now, what is stopping this from just popping up one more time? That's why we're risk managed, okay? The 2-hour divergences are great for rolling over these daily charts. The daily chart is about to roll over. That makes sense. But what if there is one more trap left in Netflix before that happens? We get data this morning, so we have to pay attention. All right, and now let's go down to AMC and GME. AMC, what are we noticing? It's pushing down. This is playing out pretty much exactly how I thought it would, how I said this is how I would hurt the most people and trick the most people with AMC and GME. I would allow Nvidia to stay up higher. I would make Nvidia go higher, and then I would rip that away. But at the same time, I would have AMC and GME go down. That way no one buys into AMC and GME. People think that it is dead, and then they are pissed off when that thing starts to run if Nvidia can rug pull. Now, that all is a bunch of ifs and probablys, right? I want to pay attention to what's actually happening. Is AMC dead? No, it is not. It is not dead. It is on the daily scale having some kind of pullback. And we know that yesterday it was rigged. We showed you guys, and we'll show you on GME how you know it's rigged. Now, I told you guys on the 30-minute that I was leaning towards this 30-minute pulling down, going to test 437 again. I think that is what is going to happen today. So the position that I trade back and forth, I might be in and out of that. But I'm still holding the underlying stock in case something crazy happens. So I have one position in an option that I am holding the entire time, and then I have the underlying stock. So that tells me, okay, with the position that I'm trading though, I can go, okay, means I get out, this curls down, then it curls right back up, I can get right back in. That's how momentum works, guys. Now, GameStop, this is where we can show you how it's rigged. And here is your confirmation of some kind of pullback. There you go. Now we can see maybe if we can curl back up in positive territory, because GME is very up high in positive territory for this 30 minutes. So it's going to take a lot of pressure to get this thing down to negative. You could come all the way down to this gap fill and you still won't be negative. You still won't be negative on the 30-minute. So that's something to pay attention to. GME looks still contrarian bearish with that crossing, but it's very far away from the center line. So I'm not convinced that this is the moment. Now I'm going to show you how you know that this stock is rigged. We talked about this live yesterday. I'm going to show you exactly how you know that this stock is rigged. It's right here. Right here is where the first halt came in. Right here is where the first halt came in the first 5 minutes. Actually, shit, I think it came in the first like 2 minutes of the day, and then they halted it for about 5 minutes. Now, during that halt, what does Wall Street always say? Well, this is a halt to help the retail traders to understand what is going on so they can make a decision. They say that all the time. This is where you know that that is a total lie. Because all this does is trading is supposed to stop, but notice that trading doesn't stop. It allows the short sellers in the dark pools to force the stock down, get the positions they need to force the stock down, and then we're not able to recover to that price. Now, AMC fought back against that a little bit, but this is most of the time where you know this is a rigged behavior here. Okay, this is dark pool transactions. And this is most likely more naked short selling here and then trying to push the stock down, because now they have all the order flow. They know exactly how much they need to push it down a little bit. And notice that it gaps down 37.95, and it starts to go all the way down to 36.16. This is not supposed to happen because the trading was supposed to be halted, right? So very, very obvious that this is being manipulated. If it's being manipulated, then I think that just means everyone's right about GME and AMC. Everyone's right about it. And if you wanted even more fact that you're right about it, even on the AMC side of things, they actually pulled up the data here, and they were saying, you know, how many retail people actually own the stock. I think it's like 98%. So they are going to struggle to find those shares in order to cover their positions, and that's why they do not want this to pop. If this pops, they're screwed. So this is going to be a big battle. We've talked about it before. I'm looking for some kind of pullback while Nvidia goes higher, and I'll show you guys when that's happening. Let's go look at volatility real quick. Volatility starting to scale down with a high or a lower high here. So we can pay attention to that. You can see on a 15-minute, we're starting to curl down closer to the center line here. So we're paying attention. And other than that, HYG, what are we noticing from it? It's holding up better. Okay, so if we do see some kind of downfall, we can pay attention to HYG, we can pay attention to the dollar, and we can pay attention to XLU. Okay, so let's go look at the dollar for a sec. Like I said, I got a new mouse, so give me some slack here. We'll look at this on an hourly just real quick to show, hey, that selling coming in the market is probably real selling if we're selling off pretty good. But notice, it's not the best sell-off. So I think that this is overall just the selling that's coming in the market. I don't think there's a difference between the SPY and the dollar as of right now. But we know this, okay? Look at this point. Where are we at this point? Okay, this is from, let's say yesterday at 14.30, so 2.30 for me. And then we go look at the dollar at 2.30. 230 yesterday, somewhere around here. Okay, notice that the dollar was lower than where it was at that time. Okay, this is insider buying here, so we can pay attention to that. If there's going to be some rug pull moment, it could happen. We could make a divergence to the downside. But that just pay attention to these types of things. Okay. All right, going over to the SPY, I'm just going to leave it here as we wait for that open. Let's maybe pull over some data to talk about real quick. All right, let's talk about this data real quick. Okay, JOLTS job openings. I believe if this number comes in at this lower level, we could see some kind of sell-off, okay? Less job openings. Actually, less job openings. Yeah, I think less job openings would be an overall inflationary thing. And therefore, maybe the market does sell off a little bit. But I think the important thing to remember is that the PCC just going up is what they want. They want the call side to be cheaper so they can start to really manipulate Nvidia, AMD, all of these stocks. They want to manipulate them higher, in my opinion. If things change, that is my opinion. If the charts tell me something different, then I will say something different. I will. But as of right now, I think that they are going to manipulate Nvidia higher. Even if it gets some kind of pullback, I think they will manipulate it higher eventually, and we will see that rug pulled eventually coming into the next 2 weeks. I think we're still heading towards that top. That's why I put out a video a week ago saying, hey, yeah, we have about 30 days left, 30 trading days left, and then we're going to see some kind of stock market crash. All right, guys, I want to say good morning to you guys. Make sure you're drinking your coffee and you're ready for the day. How are you doing? We can look at gold as well. Gold looked like a pretty good setup, and it's really dropping off, okay? So this is where you want to be risk managed, right? We see the 2 hour curling up, positive territory. That is a good sign, but was the daily able to curl up so I could hold on to this? No, it wasn't. And then the other part is I need to manage the trade on a 30-minute. That looked like it was about to cross over. Kind of awful here that your risk management couldn't really come into play if you were doing an option strategy here. It's kind of hard with this when you see a gap down. You didn't necessarily get that crossing over. But you do have potential here to hold up, okay? We do have potential to hold up. We could head down to test these lows. So what do we want to pay attention to? Well, at the open, it's going to tell you, hey, risk management says this is crossing over. Don't take the play. Then if it curls back up, you can be right back in the play, and that might be the real move. This is how you stay out of those fake outs. This one's just a little bit more difficult, I would say, and maybe you needed to pay attention to gold futures. Oil really dropping off here. Oil really dropping off here. That is interesting. Oil really dropping off. That is kind of crazy behavior there. That's a deflationary move. Interesting. We got to see if XLU just starts to drop off. That could be just a signal that, hey, and this is something to pay attention to as well, by the way. Let's pay attention to this as well. This is our crash indicator. Most of the time, it makes some kind of clear divergence before that happens, but I wanted you to notice how between this point right here and the actual high from the MACD was right here. So that is some kind of double top divergence right now. So what can we pay attention to? Well, I think a 2 hour, if this 2 hour just rolls over, then we might get some further downside in the market, okay? So we'll pay attention if there's some kind of difference between XLU and the market. But as of right now, if that 2 hour crosses over, your negative territory is there. We might see some downside in the market if the 30 minutes able to cross back up, which is more what I'm leaning toward because of this weekly expected move. We could just see some kind of downturn. Make sure to pay attention if that 2 hours actually crossing over, or if the 30-minute is crossing up, we could see some kind of divergence up here. That is very telling, and that will say weakness up in this area. We will have divergence, and that might be some kind of top for XLU. They is market makers or short sellers. Usually when I say they, that means market makers or short sellers. But we know market makers, I try to say a lot when I'm talking about market makers. I try to say algorithm because that helps you out. You know I'm talking about market maker because most of the mainly market makers are just algorithms now. Mainly, it's not some person calculating, doing all these things. It's just an algorithm. They already told us, you know, I say it multiple times. I'll say it once today. They hired rocket scientists in order to create an algorithm that literally is built to know when puts and calls are cheaper than the other, right? So when puts are cheaper, it will switch to the put side. When calls are cheaper, it will switch to the call side. It is built to hurt retail traders. He's going to say that's a good thing for retail traders. That's a horrible thing for retail traders. Because right when we saw it last week, right when retail traders, right here, we said right when it gets to this point, it's going to be bad. Right when they take the bait, the stock market starts to do what? It starts to go up dramatically. Then we see the call side come. Now we get a major amount of calls. That's why the market was stalling out, even with some decent data. And then boom, what do we see? The market pulls back pretty dramatically. So it's literally built to do the opposite of what retail traders are doing. It is 100% rigged. There is that downward push. This is when everyone went to the call side with decent data, and this is where we were saying, oh, that's actually why I got out of my volatility position. I had a short on volatility, and then at that moment I said, okay, let me get out, and I took my 170%. Sick Squirtle hat. What about the Squirtle tat, dude? What about the Squirtle tat, bro? I got Squirtle and Stitch on my arm, dude. That's right. Pretty sick. My wife did that. She is not a tattoo artist. I was her first guinea pig, and people thought I was crazy, but I was like, she's from New York, and she does like huge paintings. She was a paid cosplayer at events and stuff like that. So she's very artistic, and I saw, I let her do some early on tattoos first. So she did this one. She did my little Buddhist tattoo. She did my little bird. And then after that, she went for it with this, and it looked pretty good. Pretty dope, huh? Pretty sick. Yeah, we can look at JP Morgan as well. If you guys have some stocks to look at, just notice that this data doesn't come out till 9 a.m. So if you guys have some stocks for me to look at, I'm perfectly fine clicking around for a little bit. We can look at Intel next. Okay, so we'll look at JP Morgan here. What are we noticing? 30-minute. If that would have crossed up, that would have been nice. This looks very flaggy on a bigger scale. So I want to look at a 2-hour. So 2-hour crosses over. This could be all some kind of bigger flag. So right now is the daily crossed up. The daily's trying to cross up. The most likely scenario here is, well, first of all, that's a reversal candle. It's not the best reversal candle, but it is an inverse hammer. So at this point, if it curls up, I think you got a chance to make a daily divergence up here for JP Morgan. Banks are going to be under a lot of pressure, guys. Banks are going to be under a ton of pressure. There are 63 banks that could just fail in this month. They need to, they are completely out of money, and they could just fail this month. They need like $517 billion in order to not fail. And 63 of them are in trouble. So be very cautious. I don't know the exact banks. I need to look that up. But we showed you a long time ago the website where you can look up bank failures. So yeah, I think you got a potential to make a daily divergence here. I would just really be watching if this 2-hour curls over today, though, because I think this is going to be a fake out. But if that 2-hour crosses over, you're close to the center line. So no reason to take upside there. Let's look at Intel real quick for you guys. INTC, all right, here we go. All right, big bounce here with a possible double bottom down here. Now, Intel, the last time we looked at it, we talked about it making some kind of 30-minute divergence. Look at this. Because we talked about that scenario, we are aware of it. What do we see? We see a divergence right here. This might be a scale in play, right? And then you see the higher low. Now you maybe can scale in again. Now that's not going to confirm until this morning, but look how once it goes positive, it's already seeing a big rip higher. So this is overall what we were talking about, and now you're getting some kind of higher low right in here, but you did have divergence here that told you about it. So that's very cool to see. Very good trade setup there. If the 2-hour can cross up, it's still down in negative territory, so you got to be worried about these highs. This is where in my strategies in my course, I teach you how to make a range for any stock that you're wanting to trade or you have a trade in. You make that on Sunday. You know that maybe the range for this guy right here is 31.26. And then you see a big move up to 31.26. Well, you know this is only Tuesday. If it's only Tuesday and the market's saying 68% chance to close in this zone and you're already outside of that on Tuesday, usually if it happens early on in the week, you see that fall back down. TLT, yeah, we can go over TLT as well. This is going to be the data, right? The data is really going to affect this. This is what they were lying about. Now we're seeing it come up. Remember, they told you right here, you should be really worried, and the market sold off because they were like, you should be really worried about the yields going higher. We pointed out that that was just a dead lie. That was a complete lie. And look at the yields now. They're lower. So you should be worried about them going higher, but now they're dramatically lower. So that's something interesting. Now we're hitting a point to pay attention to, 4.363, and we're maybe going to go all the way down to this range. TLT on the flip side of that, seeing a big upward move and breaking out of the channel. Now you can get a retest. We still get data at 9 a.m. that can affect TLT, but the fact that this is rising, and what do we notice? So this is what I'm getting at with the TLT here. 2 hour able to go positive. Very, very good sign. 30-minute here does need a pullback eventually, so maybe we do get some kind of retest and then start to move higher in the future, but you are breaking out of the channel as of right now. If you go back and you just look at this whole channel, you haven't broken out of that in a long time. Off-road, thank you so much for subscribing. Really do appreciate it, and thank you guys for liking the video today. But you notice it's very positive, so I'd still be, even in TLT, I'd still be looking for a pullback here. But other than that, I think that maybe those yields just keep dropping off. Maybe we see all good data. Remember at the beginning of the week, we were like, maybe we just get good data all week and we see the stock market go higher. But the big thing is TLT making an upward move. And then we want to see if HYG is kind of confirming that upward move right here. HYG holding up higher. So that's telling you they're waiting for the data most likely. But how is the SPY reacting? Well, the SPY is down. So the SPY is down while the HYG is holding. Now it's following utilities a little bit, but other than that, HYG and TLT are both either even or up while this is down. So it's very dependent on the data as of right now. Someone did say Starbucks, I think. Let's look at Starbucks. I do not get coffee from Starbucks anymore. You do have a 30-minute divergence here. Very, very short. So you see how they can be very tight. This is why I'm saying if you're not good at finding these, you have to just be honest with yourself. Be like, I'm not good at these shorter time frames. Maybe I want to trade based on 2 hour. Maybe I want to trade based on a daily chart. You can make plenty of money in the market trading a daily chart. Trading a daily chart, you can make plenty of money in the market. You will see similar signals. It will take more time. If you want to wait for 2 hours, then you can be like, okay, I'm just going to wait for a 2 hour divergence to form and then look for a 30-minute in that. Okay, cool, I take the trade. Like, that's how simple you can make it. That's how I've done so well. Good morning, Scar King. Welcome. What if they were reversal, pre-market, S-Bucks, TLT, ADSK, Autodesk. Oh my gosh, that is a huge upward move. When we see a huge upward move off earnings, this is great. Hopefully, you know, if you were trading around earnings and you got lucky with it, just know that earnings is a 50-50 flip, okay? 50-50 flip here. But the fact that this went up, now you have direction. So if this wants to at any time curl down to that center line, kind of start to taper off, this is not tapering yet. This could just continue. So we need to see a tapering move, right? We need to see this go like this or go like this more sideways so it kind of tapers off, not the directly down kind of algorithmic move to the downside. So what do I want to see here? Well, we know the direction is chosen, positivity. I don't know why I'm hiccuping so much. That just curls down to the center line, curls back up. Look up swing trading. Swing trading is very, very good, especially after an earnings play. We just see if there's another positive move left in this. If there is another positive move left in this, your indicator will tell you. Your indicator on the 30-minute here will tell you. Tesla, we did look at Tesla. It's just wonky as hell, dude. It's just, this is so wonky. Now, you haven't taken out these lows, right? But you're pretty much in a box. I would say the line in the sand has to be 173.20. If you close below that on a daily scale, you're probably going to start to hint that you're going negative. Look, you're a little bit closer to the center line here than a lot of others. So that would not be good. I still think they're manipulating the market. I do not think that this will end up just crashing down, but it doesn't matter what I think. The signals will tell me. So the 2 hour here is what I'm paying attention to. If that can curl up, good things. But right now it's curled down, so that means bad things. That means bad things. We can dig all the way into a 15-minute, but once you start getting into a 15-minute, you start to just like try to form a plan, right? You're kind of obsessed with the stock if you're just trying to find a divergence anywhere. If you're not seeing the divergence on a 30-minute, if you're not seeing the reversal signals, if you're not seeing curls up on a 30-minute or 2 hour, then I would highly encourage you not to just keep digging and keep digging and keep digging and looking for a reason to take the trade. Then you're looking for a reason to take the trade. Just look at a 30-minute chart. If it has 3 to 5 reasons to take the trade, then you can think about it, right? But right now, I do not have those 3 to 5 reasons. I do not. I could probably go into a 5-minute and it makes a 5-minute divergence, get some kind of bounce. That's cool and all, but the 30 minutes not going to tell me right now that this has to just go ballistic. I think it still does make a push higher, but notice 180.92, our kind of point where we were like, that's where the major resistance is in. We talked about it way back here. Way back here, we were talking about 180.92. And look how we gap above it. Important. We get some wonky price action to use as support. When we lose it, confirming downside, okay? So at this point now, what do? We get all these reactions up to it. We fade above it, reaction up to it, reaction up to it, reaction up to it. So if you're going to be bullish, you need to at least see 180.92 taken back. As of right now, this is bearish on the 30-minute. It's bearish on the 30-minute. It's bearish on the 2-hour. And pretty much it's contrarian bearish on the daily, but it's closer to that center line than a lot of other stocks. Was that helpful, Ken? It's just this, and I've said it in my videos a lot. I know I didn't put out a YouTube video last night, but I've been saying this almost every day. This is one of the most wonky stocks to trade. Look at that price action. That is some wonky shit there. That is some wonky stuff. If you want Tesla, the quick little breakdown that I just did, just scroll back literally 2 minutes. We just talked about Tesla. Just literally click back 2 minutes, and then when you're finished with it, click the live button, and it'll send you back to us now. That boy duck. Sorry, I just did it. We'll look at it later. We'll look at it again later and see if anything's changed. NEO was one that we were asked about, and the daily tried to cross up. It's rejecting as of right now. We want to look at a 2-hour. What's that thing look like? It's pretty close to the center line, guys. Pretty close to the center line. Now, a lot of the time you will get rejections here. That's perfectly fine. Let the 30-minute tell you what is going to happen. You have the potential for even a head and shoulders type of thing in here if you can come up to this this top up here. Sorry, new mouse. This top up here, we'd have potential for head and shoulders to form. But as of right now, what do I think is going to happen? Well, you had a rejection divergence first, so that can roll over the 2-hour. You see the higher high here, and then you see how the MACD got the rejection divergence. Some people believe that's stronger. I like mine to be very clear. And then this right here, divergence at the same time. So we can roll over the 2-hour here. Don't think we can't. But if we want to make a very clear divergence, I think you could see some kind of pop higher, but let your indicator tell you that. Right? Your indicator will tell you that there is confirmation of more upside if this bar can complete like this. And then it can go up, maybe touch the points between these two highs, and you could see some kind of reaction like this up to 565. And then we have to see, does that create a divergence that's more clear, really close to the center line? That is what I look for as a trader, when things are more clear. That's why I'm saying Tesla does not look clear, and therefore I'm not even really paying attention to it. Amazon doesn't look the clearest either. I'm not paying attention to it. You know what looks really clear is Nvidia. It can make something very clear on an hourly or 2-hour chart. You know what looks very clear? AMD. AMD on a 2-hour chart, right? If this just curls up, positive territory, we can go and test maybe this high up here. If we test that high, we can make triple divergence. Or if that wants to just test these highs up here, what if we just curl up and we make multiple point divergence across the way? Anytime that if this just curls up one time and curls back down, it's right by the center line. This is more clear. Nice to see you back with the cam. Thanks, Slot Machine. Thanks everyone who remembers my beautiful face. My beautiful face. All right, what else do you guys want to look at? AT&T. Ooh, AT&T. We haven't looked at AT&T. I don't know the ticker for AT&T anymore. I'm just going to type AT&T. It's just T. This was in my dividend portfolio way back in the day. I really liked it for the dividend side. Wow, big drop-offs there. So that is a run-up. So when you see a run-up like this, it's going to be hard to find stuff on the shorter time frame. So we want to look on the daily scale here. Look at that. That is a huge move up. So you may even want to pull up a weekly scale here. And look at this. Now we have a plan. This is a weekly. So do you see how trading based on the higher time frames, what could we say? Well, this is forming. If this crosses down, that's not going to be good. Does it have the divergence? Flat. Violating it a little bit, but a little flat. Okay, so this could overall mean there could be a weekly pullback. The reason that I'm paying attention to this, though, is just because this right here is still close to the center line on the weekly scale. That could mean bad things for AT&T. So this would tell me, hey, just watch out for a second. If it pulls back, that's fine. This would be like an investor saying, okay, if this crosses over, it's not a good time to invest for a few months. Then that curls down for a bit, curls right back up. They go, okay, this is a better time to get into that position, right? And then they could say, okay, now I can hold that for a couple of months. from an investment standpoint, the weekly chart is very, very good. The monthly is the best if you can't pay attention to charts at all. What do I think of Bitcoin? I think Bitcoin was going to see that run up. So we called out, this is the trade setup we gave on Bitcoin, was a 2-hour chart. Might have been a 4-hour chart, but it was on both. Down here at these lows over the weekend, we gave this trade setup on Patreon. Okay, we told this on Patreon, and yes, I do pay attention to crypto, just not as much. I'm thinking about adding a crypto section to my course. That way you can just know how to trade it back and forth. It's a little bit different than stocks because it goes all the frickin' time. But right here, we noticed the 2-hour divergence. This is where, actually, it was a few bars late because I caught it late. But this bar right here, I believe, at 67.6K is where I said, yeah, Bitcoin looks like it's going to break to the upside. Now it broke to the upside, and we said right around here, okay, now it looks like it's going to get a pullback. So now it's getting that pullback. We have to see. The 2-hour can have some work left in it. The 2-hour can just curl right down and then curl back up into positive territory. But you did have this on the 4-hour as well. So if we go down into a daily, what you would want to see here is the daily curling up. And I think you have good potential for a pop and drop in Bitcoin. I think you have good potential for this to pop to like 74K, maybe 74.5. I would say 74 to 75K is where I'm looking, and then see that just rug pulled because we could create some kind of divergence here. Yes, I do like Bitcoin. I am a big Bitcoin guy. Like, I don't hate on crypto at all. I wish that this was the way that could really solve the market, but the fact that it's just on computers in general and the government is technically in control of the infrastructure, if the government was going to force you out of your Bitcoin, all they have to do is shut down your computer, right? All they have to do is shut down everything, right? They shut down the internet and all your stuff is gone. That's pretty much how it works with Bitcoin to me. All that they have to do is say, Coinbase, you're no longer a thing, and then all your money's gone. So this, I love it in the standpoint of the people actually having the power of the currency. I love it. But the fact that it's on internet is very, very sketchy. And that's why I'm not a fan of getting rid of cash. A lot of places are charging more if you want to pay with cash. A lot of places are saying, you know, a lot of banks are not allowing you to take out more than $1,000 cash at a time. And I think that is psychotic. But cash is something that is very good because it allows you to just give it back and forth, and the government can't see exactly what you're doing, right? If you just keep all your money, if you have, I don't know, $2,000 in cash at your house based on after you pay your taxes, well, now you have that $2,000 cash in your house. And now you can just say, okay, I could just trade back and forth. I could buy my neighbor's, you know, vegetables, whatever. I am a just in case kind of person. You will hear me say things that are kind of leaning towards like, if we get a cyber attack or something like that, now we don't even have cash to trade. That will cause more chaos. If we go into a cyber attack, now the internet's off, that will cause chaos because people won't know what's going on. And so I am prepared for those. I am someone who has rice, who has seeds and things like that, just in case something bad happens. But I do like Bitcoin, and I think that the reason that Bitcoin could drop as well is because you know that some big players have Bitcoin, and maybe even short sellers have Bitcoin, and they want to bait you into think this is going to 100,000, and then that rips away. So just pay attention. Just pay attention, because if this divergence forms, then you're going to see it. Now, there is potential for this to just run, right? For this to just go. The dollar could be dead, right? We don't know, but there is potential for it. As of right now, you're seeing a daily divergence can form. So you just want to pay attention to your signals as long as your internet's working. Steal 10K USD versus steal 10K worth of gold. Which one will you steal? As of right now, I would steal 10K worth of the dollar. And then in a year, I would convert all of that 10K into gold. I don't think gold has to crash down. I just know that people think gold has to go up in a crash. And if you just go look at gold, right? If you just go look at gold and you pull this up on a daily, you scroll back to when some big stuff was happening. Okay, what was it? 2023, boom, topped out. What do we see around 2022 when we went into that bear market? Okay, gold went down. What do we notice back here in 2020? What did we notice? Well, by August, yes, you saw a run-up, right? We saw a run-up from the 2020 March happen, right? That was the one time it ran up. But notice how that pulls down. Where is gold right now? It's way up here, and that can continue, but I'm seeing reversal signal here, so I would take the 10K of dollar, and then I would see this drop off dramatically, and maybe I would just start to scale in over time. That's what I would do. Now, if I could have it perfect, I would do half and half. If I had it perfect, I would do half and half, because then you can have 5,000 in gold at sure a high level, but at least you have. And wait, is it physical gold? Is it physical gold? Is it physical gold? Hold on, who asked the question? Where is it? Of course, physical. Okay, then I would definitely half and half it no matter what. I would take 5K worth of gold right now. I would take 5K worth of physical gold right now, and then I would wait and see if the chart played out some kind of pull back, maybe down to like 187.73. I would look at the price of actual physical gold at that point and see if it was able to come down as well, and then that's what I would do. I'd go half and half, because then I'm still in the move in case something crazy happens. Kind of like AMC. If something crazy happens with AMC, okay, I'm in the move. But if it wants to pull back, I'll buy more of it, right? Silver is a little rougher, so the reason that I'm a little, like, I believe silver still has value, and I think it's still, like, maybe even undervalued a little bit, but at this point, you would say gold is a conductor. If we went into some kind of bad thing, if we were going through some kind of, like, terrible thing that caused chaos throughout our country, which we're seeing a lot of those red flags pop up, you would want something that's at least a conductor, because gold is in your cell phones. Gold is in a lot of things that you use. Yeah, we can look at Exxon. So they're very, very wide, and that's why I keep saying take them with a grain of salt. There could be some major volatility in play. This just means the IV today is higher. The implied volatility today is higher. So that means we can really get ripped around today. But I'm taking these with a grain of salt. Usually when they are higher like this, when you see a big, big spread, this could be a problem with, it could be a glitch in my system with the IV that I normally get. It could be because there were glitches, right? This could be some kind of weird thing happening with the market makers messing with volatility right now. I don't know if this is like the correct move, but if we see something rigged, then it'll make sense. I'm just not reading too much into the daily expected moves today. That is a huge, huge range. What's your take on Oxy? And we can look at Exxon. Petroleum. 2-hour chart's going to be maybe the most important here. So you do have a divergence here on the 2-hour chart, but that's not completing, right? So this is the risk of trying to take something that's, you know, still in a downward trend. Now it is getting tighter, but that big move to the downside is very worrisome. There you go. There you go. If you remain in this, look at that wedge. It's a very good wedge. You have a bunch of divergences. You might have one on a daily scale because you have so many. You don't. You don't. This is a very difficult one here. So 2-hour, you notice this about the MACD. This is how important positive territory is. And that's why we talk about it so much in the course, right? We have a whole section of the MACD positive territory, right? Look how we don't go positive. Look how much that matters. We just go sideways and not go positive, break back down. Right here, not able to go positive, break back down. You need this to go positive. So anytime that you're doing anything like this, you have to stay risk managed until that 2-hour goes positive. Then you can feel a little bit more comfortable. I wasn't saying big drop today. I was saying if it sets up this. So the key thing is you can never guess the exact timing of things. Friday was kind of a freak thing where everything was happening at the same time. So it was a little bit easier to be like, they could V-shape recovery this by the end of the day. But this here is more likely just it is going to be whenever this actually sets up, whenever this sets up is the proper timing. Now we talk about this in the risk management portion. Your timing could be off and that's why you have to stay risk managed. What is stopping this from double topping? They're going to manipulate this. So I'm going to trade it. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing, when I'm buying, and overall just show you like how to risk management just a little bit, which is something that no other trader will give you, on the internet. Nobody will tell you this kind of stuff. Now, if you want to learn this stuff just in depth right away, it's going to take you some time if you're new here to learn exactly what I'm doing and actually implement it. If you want to know exactly what I do and how I do it, I break it down very simply in my course. It is only $100 this week. All right, let me check. If you guys are wondering what my kitchen looks like, now that my wife has her own kitchen again, that's what my kitchen looks like. It's very pink, white, and has hearts all over it. We can look at Lulu. But yeah, next level, you just want to be patient. I would really be paying attention to this. Triple divergence is available here. If we see some kind of run up, we could get triple divergence. Lulu. And what? Oh, sorry, I punched the mic. My bad, guys. Didn't mean to hurt your ears. Lulu here, I thought it had a big drop. Yeah, it did have a big drop right here. All right. So what are we noticing? Well, the hourly was able to go positive. That's a good thing, but I don't like hourly charts. I like confirmations on 2 hours. Notice the 2 hour is not positive. The hourly can fake you out a lot of the time. I actually think that the rigged part of technical analysis might be hourly charts. I think they know most people pay attention to hourly charts and 15-minute charts. So I think those are not good. That's why I think the 30, the 2 hour, and the daily, the 30 and the 2 hour confirmations are actually better. Lulu earnings tomorrow. That's a 50-50 flip. I have the coin over here. If we want to flip the earnings coin, we could flip it today. You guys want to flip the earnings coin? See which way Lulu is going to go, but just know that that is not a magical coin. It's been very, very right somehow. I don't know how, but 50-50 flip. Don't feel like touching Lulu. I play League of Legends, and that sounds wrong. Okay, I don't play League of Legends anymore. I haven't played in like a long freaking time. But coin into house. Long term, no way. Okay, let's look at a daily though. See, this is the thing. You can do technical analysis on this. You can convince yourself that this is a great look. It is if we didn't have earnings. This literally could just be, oh, look, the momentum's going up. The charts are telling me it has to go up. This is a rock in the stream. Earnings is a 50-50 flip no matter what the chart looks like. I always say if you have to take, if you're like, I can't not take the trade. I can't not take the trade. I have to take it. I just can't resist. If you absolutely have to, then downsize that position for the day. Downsize the position in the trade. If you're right, you're most likely going to see a big move. You'll make plenty of money. So if you normally put $1,000 behind a trade here and take, I don't know, 2 to 4 contracts, just cut that in half. That way your risk is really limited. That's what I encourage. I always talk about my Zillow. Remember, guys, my Zillow trade back when I took it looked like this. My Zillow trade looked like this before earnings, and I took a call with a regular size, with actually a very big position because I was cocky. Back in the day, Zillow earnings like years ago, I took a position that looked just like this before earnings, and I said, haha, I'm doing so good because I know my technical analysis now, and I'm going to be right because I'm always right, so I'm going to put $8,000 behind this. And that was back when I was first doing this type of stuff, and I didn't have a ton of money. So $8,000 was a huge position at the time. And guess what? I took that earnings play, and this did not play out to the upside. It went the other way, and I lost $7,000 in like an hour. Okay, I lost like $7,000 in like an hour. So what would I tell myself if I could go back into the past, if I was a time traveler? I would say, hey, Luke, I know that you were obsessed with it. You thought you were cocky. You had to take the play. Just use a smaller position, because if Zillow was going to see a big move, you would make plenty of money out of $1,000. So notice I kind of took it from $8,000 and I put it down to almost towards 10% of that value, right? Almost $800 to $1,000. That's what I would tell myself if I could go back in the past. If you have to take a trade setup around earnings, you just can't resist, even though you know it's a 50-50 flip, downsize that position. You'll still make money. It's green today. Look at that, 50x. Nvidia green. Oh my God, Nvidia's green. While what? AMC and GME are not green. At least last time I looked. It always gets glitchy around the open. I'm gonna get, we need the data. Let me get out of some things over here. We're testing out the new Wi-Fi, so make sure We haven't done this setup in a while. So we got to make sure everything's good. So let me know if everything looks good on your end. It's a little bit lagging behind with my mouse. That's kind of annoying, but it's manageable. AMC is down. GME is down. Now the theory today, or my theory is, they're going to tell you, hey, GME and AMC are dead, and now we're most likely going to see Nvidia pump up, and then right when you think AMC and GME are dead, they might pop, and Nvidia might drop. Damn, we are really laggy today. We look at Riot? Yeah, we can look at that in a second. So for AMC, I know someone was asking in the chat real quick for AMC, 30-minute, if that crosses over, you're in the pullback. This is what we said yesterday. We said 30-minute, most likely going to see some kind of pullback. Maybe we go down to 437, and around this time, Nvidia will be going higher. What are we noticing this morning? Nvidia going higher, AMC and GME dropping off. So now that is just something I'm reading into. There's no real reason for that. That's how I would do it if I was trying to screw over the most people. And yeah, it would screw over a lot of people. So what you need to happen here is if we're going to see a meaningful pullback, well, it can get close to that center line. You need that to cross back up and go positive because this is going to be red early on. So unless AMC can just not go red here in the morning on the MACD down here. Riot real quick, and then we'll just flip over to the SPY. Everything's a little bit laggy on my end all of a sudden with the open. Looks like 30-minute divergence could be here. Looks like a slightly higher low. So you need this 30 minutes to go positive. What does a 2-hour look like here? Yeah, 2 hours not positive either. So you got to talk negatively about this. If this crosses up, then you can start to be a contrarian bull, but you need that to go positive, right? We need to cross the center line for Riot. On the daily scale, I probably would be I would be waiting for the daily to turn back up if I was going to invest in this. The daily is crossed over in negative territory, and you're not making a diversion. Now you could make that lower high. Your 2 hours is going to tell you, or higher low. Your 2 hours is going to tell you if you're making a higher low here. And now everything's going to start to open up right when I click, so it's going to load for a sec. FFIE, I think that the other short seller problem stuff might go away. The penny stock stuff might go away because people are now going to believe in AMC and GME. We can look at it though. I've talked about this before. We told you guys what to look for, but now it's negative in negative territory on a 2 hour. Not a good look. The 30 minutes probably close to the center line. Yeah, so if this crosses down, that's not a good thing. That is not a good thing. All right? This is a very bad look for a stock, okay? What do? We get up towards the center line, we cross over, negativity. We get up towards the center line, we cross over, negativity. I think FFIE might be dead. But in order for it to be dead, we got to look at the daily scale. And it's not completely dead yet. This could still just be a pullback. Could still be a pullback, but none of the shorter time frames are telling you strength. GME was telling you strength. All right, let's go over to the SPY. Let's watch that for now and just chill out for a second. I've clicked around a ton, so I want to just figure out what's going on here. I think a 15-minute is still good, right? Yeah, we curled up. Does it curl back down? Then I need my charts up on my other screen here. Let me get my charts up on my other screen. Let's help out. All right, I'm just getting my charts up on my other screen real quick, and then we'll be back to it. This is my old computer still. I have my new computer right behind me, but I need to move everything I have on this over to it. You guys will have to maybe deal with some lagging behind for a little bit. All right. Okay, now I have stuff on for the day. Looking good. Nvidia is what I want to watch on my other screen. It fucking loads. 30-minute rolling over would be bad. 2-hour crossing up is what we're paying attention to. Okay. So I got the 2-hour up on my other screen for Nvidia. This could be brief. I'm actually going to do this maybe on a third. So we're looking through Nvidia, by the way, on my other screen. I'm just looking through it. Yo, this is so laggy today. That's the gone green. Artists, I know. We missed each other. All right, let me do something real quick. I'm just going to fix something. I'm going to see if we can fix this by making my phone not work as hard. Now, this might be a little bit more zoomed in, but we might deal with that for today. I kind of want this stuff to function well. So we might be zoomed in here. I'm sorry if this zooms in on all my pimples, but I think this will make my computer work a little better. I'm still using my old computer, which is lame. Let's see, it's going to be really zoomed in. Watch. Let's go with this for today. That makes me look awful, but this is funny. Hey guys, I am in the charts right now. I'm way up in them. It didn't really help out the lagginess. All right, Nvidia dropping off. Like I said, oh, now we have a 15-minute divergence right here at the high. That's not enough of a reason for me to take a trade. Wow. We are very zoomed in, guys. Now you guys can see my wonky teeth. I still have baby teeth. Right here. That's a baby tooth. All right, we get data in 25 minutes. I'm gonna cut off the camera. We're gonna see if this works a little better. I gotta wait till my new PC's up. I think it's taken too much of the bandwidth. You guys got to see my face for a little bit. That was nice. I've never had my computer act like it hasn't acted like this in the entire time that I've been streaming with you guys. This is lame. Where's my other charts? I just won't have them up today. What I'll do, I'm literally going to exit out of everything there. We're just going to focus on this right here. Let's see if it cleans up a little bit. All right. So we're going to go no cam for a little bit. My computer is on the struggle bus. I got my new one behind me, but it's just not set up. Yeah, I have to use Wi-Fi down in this area. I have a hole above me in the ceiling. I need to run a Ethernet through. So I got to run an Ethernet through, and then everything will improve. I'll fix that maybe today after the stream. Yeah, it looks a little bit better now, though. Okay, so XLU. What are we noticing here? Still getting the pullback. But remember, we were talking about maybe just a subtle little 5-minute divergence is all we get. And look at this. We kind of double bottom right here. Then we start to head up. So it's dependent on the data. So what we want to pay attention to with the SPY is, do we see this roll over with the data, see some kind of pullback while XLU actually heads higher? That will be very interesting. PCC at 0.88. I don't know if that's updated just yet. HYG going positive. Nvidia still positive, but wanted to roll negative. AMC and GME are pretty damn negative. Okay, so pretty damn negative here for AMC and GME. So the thing we want to pay attention to is still the 30-minute, guys. This pulling back to the center line. If it's going to be a positive move, meaning upward price action, then we are going to see this get close to the center line and curl right back up. Okay, get close to the center line and curl right back up. If there's no positivity in the move, then it could break down, right? But we're just waiting to react. Good morning. Let me see what those, let me look on my phone. I'm just going to check something real quick. I want to look if the options premium went up for AMC and GME. Damn, that spike. Isn't she lovely? So this is very simple, though. Keep it simple for yourself. We have 20 minutes left to go figure out what's happening this morning. As of right now, it looks like XLU. Let's see if that's trying to still bounce. This will be a good hint. It's able to hold up. That would be a good hint. But this is the overall pullback look we had. We had a pullback, we had a bounce, and then we pulled back more. All right, let's see the SPY. Well, the SPY pulled back, bounced, but do we pull back more? That would make some sense, right? So this is what we're paying attention to for today, seeing if this could... Now, there are multiple things that can happen. You're still close to the center line. We could go all the way down here and create a divergence, right? It depends on how much they want to trap people. Really depends how much they want to trap people. And we'll find out. We will figure it out. If we pay attention correctly, we will be able to figure this out. But AMC, let's go look at that as well. We just did GME, so AMC seeing a 3% drop, crossing over on this MACD. So the likelihood to pull back is there, but I'm thinking about not even selling any of my positions right now. I don't think I'm even going to sell out of my position. I think I'm in this for the long run now. GME pulling down. Has it ever just like pulled down on a... Yeah, I don't want like this to happen where it pulled down and then the next day it just boomed. But that did happen at the end of the day. I think they still fight it most of the day. Everyone keep me updated on any kind of halts or anything like that. Sucks. I have to do my orders on my phone. Ah, freaking sucks, dude. Let me just do this real quick. All right, we're going to pay attention to that. We'll see what happens going on throughout the day. I mean, if that's gonna, that weird behavior is going to happen. Some weird stuff happening right now. All the premium shit is just awful. I'm canceling orders. I'm canceling orders for now. Really? Really? All right, we'll just wait. We'll just wait. I trade everything on my phone. Welcome to the club. I hate trading on my phone. I've seen live streamers that do that. They like do their analysis on here and they trade on their phone, and I'm just like, God, it's so annoying. I do not like to trade on my phone. I like to trade on my computer. But that's what you're noticing with AMC, GME. Is this thing seeing a little bit more struggle? No, they're trying to bounce here. So all you have to know is if this 30-minute curls back up and you see some green right here, it still could be the moment. It could be. That's momentum confirming upside, but that could turn right back down, and then you have to say, okay, it's not confirming upside anymore. Why is this so fucking glitchy? Hasn't been like this the whole time I've streamed. It's been very, very smooth, and today it's awful. I don't want to go reset my Wi-Fi because then I have to reset the whole stream. God, look at that load. That is just garbage. Anyway. All right, so we're noticing that we just want to pay attention to if like the dollar is, when this goes down, if the dollar is also going down, that's what we'll pay attention to in that. That could be insiders buying. TLT seeing an upward move, so those yields dropping off a little bit more before the data drop. So we have about 15, 16 minutes. In and out quick for the $100. Hey, that's fine. You can be in and out of those things, man. I'm really thinking about buying more. If I have a winning trade, I'll buy more. That's kind of what I've been doing. I don't want to be liquid. If this crosses over, we do still have potential to create a stronger base. I don't know if that happens. I think we cross down and then we curl back up. I think that would be a likely scenario for the day. We curl down. We make like a little 5, 15 minute something here. Let's see the 15 minute. No, you're not going to make a 15 minute, but right here you can see this is kind of looking like a lower high at this point. Fake people out at the end of the day. BCC, I don't think that's updated yet. We got to wait another 15 minutes for that to update. But this is pretty much it. If the 15-minute crosses over, that's not a good sign. And now you have 15 minutes until data. So the next 30 minutes are going to be very, very important. And we'll see what happens. We will see. Hey, Gordon, thank you so much for the donation. $10 on Patreon. Everyone say thank you, Gordon, for giving back to the community. I used your guys' donations to pay for this mouse. I enjoy it, but it is different than my other one. So it's going to take some getting used to. Look at this. I move. It doesn't move right away. I go like that. Look at how I cast to catch up. That's ridiculous. Oh, Exxon. We didn't look at Exxon. Yeah, that's a... Yeah, you'd expect that with how oil reacted, right? Oof, that is not a good look. Now that's a 15-minute. So you're probably setting up a 2-hour divergence here for Exxon. We'll see if that confirms, right? Now we can watch this. We can be patient. It could come all the way down, right? It could come all the way down. You'd kind of want it to be tapering. This is a very dramatic sell-off. You'd kind of want to see a bounce back here, and then that divergence is like this still, because there's no real tapering in this move. So we could see this go down, bounce a little, go down again, and then taper off. That would be a very good thing if it could taper this way. As of right now, it's just pointing down. No reason to take a trade to the upside. XLU dropping. If it curls over on this 2-hour, we could see something ugly. I'm really not leaning towards it early on in the week, but if XLU can make that divergence down here, then maybe the SPY goes and makes a divergence down here as well, right? We go make a divergence outside of the weekly expected move. We get a 2-hour and a 30-minute at the same time. Your boy over here might even take a trade on the SPY if that happens. 13 minutes. We got 13 minutes till the JOLTS numbers come out. Bitcoin on the rise. Watch out for a daily divergence on Bitcoin. Watch out for that in the next few days. Now, if it's not going to confirm that, then you might just see more upside. If it's going to confirm it and then turn back up in positive territory, good shit. Awesome. That means positivity, but once you see a divergence, you got to be a little bit careful, especially when you could see a divergence soon on the SPY. Bitcoin sometimes makes those divergences first, right? Bitcoin sometimes makes the first point of divergence, starts to see a downturn, and then the market follows. Chugging some coffee before this data comes out, so we're ready for it. See if I can get that. Wonder if I could quickly go find an Ethernet cord and plug this shit in. All right, guys, I gotta use the restroom anyway. Give me 2 minutes. I'm gonna see if I can get this Ethernet cord plugged in real quick. I'll be right back. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Watch the SPY. See what happens with the data. I'll be back before the data, I promise. I'll be right back. All right, homies, we're back. We're still glitchy, but my Ethernet cord's still in my very long Ethernet cord is still in storage. So I'll get that set up maybe for tomorrow's stream. We'll see how we can get that going. Nothing really developing as of right now. Still, we have 8 minutes left until that data. Seeing the market drop off just a little bit. The dollar drops. Okay, so the dollar should be going up right now. It is, so it is the correct reaction. You're starting to see that drop off. Now this is not a dramatic move, right? The dramatic moves are what you want to pay attention to, the dramatic ones. That's the big guy. But these little ones like this can be this could be retail. So this could be retail trying to buy right now. Don't read into that too much. Volatility trying to drop off, but look at the 2 hour. It could curl up, and then maybe we create a 2 hour divergence, and then we see a drop in the market, and then that's actually some kind of trap. We'll pay attention to that as well. Probably see a 30-minute divergence here. Bruce, thank you so much for subscribing. Really do appreciate it. We'll have the camera set up, hopefully have that Ethernet plugged in tomorrow, and maybe I'll even have my new computer set up as well, so everything would be good. MLGO. Oh, that's PO. Yeah, there's no analysis on this. 5-minute chart, 5-minute crosses down, crosses back up, positive territory. That's the only thing you can do with this. There's no analysis on that. But short movies, if you paid attention to when we talked about like Lucy and stuff, the 5-minute, when it pulls back to the center line, crosses back up and goes positive, like they see 50% pops. So that's what I'd be paying attention to there. Uber, this had a decent setup. This was one that even I was thinking about taking. Oh, look at that. The setup's playing out. There's a 30-minute divergence here, 30-minute divergence all the way across. It has 2 hour divergences. I think Carlos maybe was pointing this. Someone was pointing this out. And I was just like, damn, this looks like a great setup. Look, you're getting that 2 hour confirmation. Now that's a big move, so you might want to see a pullback for an entry point, but this would say the daily can roll up here. And the thing about the daily down here is you have divergence as well. The daily already confirmed that on this bar. Now it pulled back on the 2 hour and gave you another entry point. So you could see some upside for Uber here. You just want to manage that risk. You just got to manage that risk, but this is a very good setup. We're stuck on the Qs between a rock and a hard place. The 5 and the 20. We're stuck. We're stuck, step bro. Damn, missed that one. Yeah, we talked about that one last week a lot. Check Tesla. Tesla's wonky. There's nothing new that's going to happen here. It's still negative on your 30 minutes, still negative on a 2 hour. And the daily is positive, but it's contrarian bearish. So you need this 30-minute to curl up. If this 30-minute can curl up, you might have some kind of wonky divergence down here. As of right now, it's down. Okay, that's awesome. But you could turn back up. That would be a sign of positivity for Tesla. As of right now, all the short time frames, the 30-minute, the 2 hour, is pointing to negativity. XLU and SPY pulling back today, so they're working in tandem. We just want to see if this 30-minute rolls down, rolls back up at any time. Puts are increasing too. Oh, no, it went back down to 0.88 right when I looked at it. It was at 0.9. Then it went back to 0.88. Look at Mara. Mara before this data comes out, and then we'll focus on the SPY. The 2 hour able to roll up here, that would be a good sign. Watch out for the sell zone. Watch out for the sell zone. You have Mara that's about to go up into a sell zone. You have Bitcoin that might make a daily divergence. Something to pay attention to. Please advise how to draw a 50 EMA line. You just get the indicator, and then you select this, and then you hit 50, and then if you want it for your EMA, you can put this one as 50, or you can switch to EMAs or something. You can literally just probably type like 50 EMA, and then it'll be on your chart. This is an SMA. So indicators, 50 EMA, and then it'll probably pop up. I don't like to use a 50 EMA. I like it to be SMA. It's just what I've used forever. I can't tell you really why, I've used it forever, so I like it. We react off it pretty well. The 20 is the one we react to the most. That's why, the 20 is one of the most touched ones in all of charting. So that's why I have that as my EMA. All right, let's go over to the SPY. We got 3 minutes until some data drop, okay? 30-minute chart going to be important here. Look at it trying to curl over. We'll see what happens on the next bar. 0.88, so Puts are still, you know, relatively fine if they want to push the market down. And then once puts become expensive, they could rug pull you to the upside. Nvidia was able to pull back 0.63. That's a very minor pullback. Now, I think Nvidia might have a bigger pullback in it right now, right? We could pull down like this, maybe even go create a divergence down at these lows, but we could curl down like this and curl right back up, right? Curl down, curl right back up. I think that's what most likely happens by end of day. Unless XLU just falls off a cliff, we'll have to see. Let me go to the SPY. What's good entry for AMC and GME when the 30-minute crosses back up into positive territory? Your 30-minute is crossing down on your MACD. So that means pullback is there. And then the 30-minute can curl back up. That is your sign of, that is momentum, your momentum indicator literally telling you like, hey, momentum shifting back up. If it curls back up into positive territory, that means stronger push up could happen. Just know that it is manipulated. You have to be very, very quick with it. I'll take a $20 profit, yeah, on Nvidia. Haha, I won $20. Let's freaking go, Johnson. Wow. Let's freaking go, dude. God, I want to play music so bad on this channel. I want to play music so bad. We should have like a music day where I just like don't give a and just play music. But you guys wouldn't like the music I play. Artist, do I have any guess on what? Run a Cat6 to your station, split it with a good router and make your own network. See, I need to figure out, like, I know some shit about getting, like, would just a Wi-Fi extender help down here? Because, like, I have to probably rip up some carpet, and I don't want to do that to get a, what's it called? To get a Ethernet cord down here. Mr. Brightside, dude, just the most basic. Just the most basic, like, let's just play Mr. Brightside on repeat. Tell me you're a late 80s, early 90s born kid without telling me you're a late 80s and 90s, early 90s born kid. Play Mr. Brightside, dude. I love it. That's funny. Okay, what are we seeing? Job openings. Come on. Load, damn it. All right, that came in lower. So coming in lower, that should be slightly deflationary. That should be good for the market. We'll see what happens. But you got to see what happens. This put-call ratio, you want to pay attention if that starts to go up. Actually, job openings decreasing. You got to read into if that is people taking more jobs or if there's just less job openings. If I was there, I could do that for you. I need to get like some kind of extension in down here. Some kind of thing going on. Maybe I should just get like something at the top of the stairs here. We have a nice little cubby thing at the top of the stairs. All right, the main thing to pay attention to is how is XLU reacting. If XLU is bouncing, then the market might bounce. Now, the SPY might need to catch up to the downside before that bounce comes. Here we go. Remember, you look at TWA ticker 6315 for me. Save me a good amount. It's been dropping since then, as you predicted. Hey, awesome, Marvin. I'm glad that you were able to like look at this, see the signals I was seeing, and make a decision. I think that's awesome. You know, coming here for clarification is perfectly fine as long as I can, you know, I'm looking at a bunch of different stocks. But XLU seeing a good bounce, so the market should catch up eventually. Just wait for some manipulated move or something like that. But I'm going to be paying attention to Nvidia as well. This thing I want to pay attention to on a 2-hour chart most likely. If we just see some kind of run up, that's really what I'm looking for. And actually, I could probably read into this little 30-minute divergence. That might be when I take the play for my first scale in. My first contract. I'm only doing one contract. But as of right now, you would say, hey, the SPY has a good shot to go up with that data because XLU is going up with the data. The problem is, I don't think that, the PCC is kind of still sitting in the middle. It's not really going exaggerated either way. So the market maker is not going to make money. The algorithm can't really kick in yet. So until either retail gets very greedy with options or retail gets very fearful with options, I think we might just sit for a little bit. We have to see that PCC kind of move around. Right now it's at 0.89. It needs to get up to 0.95 or get down to 0.7. AMC rolling positive. See, so someone was asking about AMC. When do you know that the next big move is coming? Well, let your momentum indicator tell you. Right now you're seeing a bounce. This is a suppressed stock. I highly assume this is going to pull back even more down to 437. Around that area, I might accumulate just a little bit more shares. Let's look at TPI Deco Mesh, Echo Mesh routers. Ooh, those look pretty. I like those. I'll look into getting one of these. I might have to buy one of these. I have it up. I have it up on Amazon right now. I might get one of those. Those look pretty good. AMC is seeing a bounce, not curled up on its MACD yet. So something you can read into as well. If you want to be a little tighter with it, you can look at 15 minutes. If this is able to curl up, that would be a good sign. I think it does still pull down, right? I think this pulls down. The 30-minute gets close to the center line. The 15-minute maybe goes negative like we did over here. And then we start to see that run back up. And then if I see Nvidia making a big move at the same time, that is something I can really start to read into. But I think the market remains stagnant until the retail market gets overzealous in some direction with the PCC. Whichever direction that goes is probably going to, the opposite reaction is going to happen. Yeah, Intel we definitely can look at again, just see what the open was like. Oh, that curled over right here. So 15 minutes has no reason for upside just yet, but it might be doing something funky here. It might be tricking everyone. Remember, the 30-minute is still close to there. This is a very significant divergence down here, right? If you get a double bottom divergence, you have the divergence here. There's your first trigger. And then if this can turn back up and go positive, you might see that big move. Okay, there's your big move off the open. That's faded. But just know that this could be something that is a little bit rigged, right? Maybe the call side got overzealous. The algorithm kicks in. Now it says puts are cheap, pushes it down right when everyone takes puts. Just see if this is able to curl up. If that curls up over today, sometime today, curls up to this area, 3028 or something like that is probably all you need in order to curl that back up. Okay, so this doesn't mean that Intel is dead by any means. It just means it could, well, it does mean it's negative, right? It's bearish. But if that can flip right back to bullish, that would be a good sign. PCC now at 0.914. Okay, so this is what they want. They want to hold the market stagnant until this gets a little bit higher. Then it will say, oh, puts are expensive. Algorithm says calls are cheap, and then boom, rug pull. That's so we might see a pullback in the SPY even further just to convince people, hey, yeah, it's down. Take puts, take puts, take puts, right? And then right when that curls down, right when we see the PCC go really high, then we're going to see that turn back around. We know that the market's very rigged. Why are markets dropping in the market? It's not melting up. Yeah, so the data we got today should be actually, I think, decent for the market. PLTR, we can look at PLTR. Do you notice how like yesterday everything was fine, now it's all glitchy? I need to just I'll get my other computer set up for the next stream. I don't know what that drawing was. All right, PLTR crossed up right here on the 30-minute. It says positivity can be there. It needs to go positive. That's a big, big deal. Okay, the 2 hour, something to pay attention to here, it's still positive. So you can see another positive move. I still really like, there's that new mouse coming in. I still really like this level of 2029. We almost reacted down to it right over here. We kind of reached down towards it a lot. Now you're getting a low, a higher low, a higher low, and a higher low. So if this 30-minute curls up, goes positive, that's going to be a good sign. I'd say an hourly might look right here. Yeah, if an hourly turns up, that could mean positivity. So look today, hourly turns up, and then you have to be quick because you could create a divergence up here, right? So I want to be quick with it. I want to be very quick with it. Notice this was a fake out, right? It confirmed upside, then it unconfirmed, then it confirmed, then it unconfirmed. So it's ripping you around right now. That's something to pay attention to. But right now I'd say this actually curls down to the center line. That's even better. Now it curls up. That's all it has to do in order to convince me, hey, it could test this high. It could go make a new one. That's where creating a weekly range will really help with these. Now, what's XLU doing? It's fading down still, crossing over in an hourly. Remember hourly, not really paying attention. 30-minute, very good here by the center line. If this curls up at any time, you probably have 5-minute, 15-minute divergence down here at this point. But you could say maybe the SPY has some more work to be done, convince people that it's going down. 0.92 now, so we're almost there with the PCC. We're almost there. But it depends on how much they want to rig it. It's not every time that it hits here that, oh, all of a sudden it just goes crazy to the upside, the SPY. No, it could have to do this. They might want to rig it even more. So you have to be aware of the actual momentum signals here. The momentum signals for the SPY would be the 30-minute here crossing over. If the 30-minute crosses over, you might have a lot of damage, and then you create something like this down here for a higher low. That just curls right back up, kind of like a swing trade. It's just you're below the 200 on the 30-minute. Will we get the gamma squeeze? If you can fight hard enough, you will get it. As of right now, you're seeing that pull down. This is a pullback. This is a bearish contrarian indication, but overall still bullish on the 30-minute. Nothing about this screams like GME is dead. And on the daily scale, GME is not dead. But this 30-minute does need to curl back up. The confirmation on your momentum indicator here says this needs to most likely pull down. We mentioned this yesterday, right around these levels. We said most likely this is going to curl down. Maybe we curl down to fill this gap down here, and then we curl back up by this center line. That would be more of a time to be like, oh, this could be the moment. Momentum is telling me this could be the moment. Just know that most likely the moment will happen in the overnight market before. It most likely does happen in the post-market, the pre-market, the overnight market, because they can do really fucked up stuff during market hours. Thank you, 271 people in here. Can we get 200 likes again? Oh my goodness, that would be awesome. Remember, we're just trying to get more people to know about these indicators. If you're someone who just is into the GME and AMC thing, you can still learn on this channel. You really can. You can learn a lot. And then you can take this and maybe use it as a way to invest if you have a different job, right? So you can still use anything in this course. Anything you learn on a 30-minute is going to be true for a daily chart, for a weekly chart, for a monthly chart. It's just on those bigger time frames, you're not going to see as crazy of stuff. So that's why lately I've been saying I know a lot of people want to become traders. There are different kinds of traders. There are daily traders, weekly traders, all that kind of thing. And if you wanted to think about it this way, if you pull back to GME on a weekly, right here, this right here is how a weekly trader would do it. Right here, they would buy shares in the stock. They probably wouldn't do an option play, or they would do a very long out option play. And then they would say, okay, this is where I place my buy. If you're a weekly trader, this is a fantastic signal. This here is a fantastic signal. I wish I was paying attention to it. You know, I paid attention to it pretty much when this big move happened, but I really wish I was paying attention to it right here, because I would have just bought a ton of shares at 1643. That's a perfect buy area. The weekly is positive. You're in a positive trend on the weekly scale. Do you see how just by being a weekly trader, I could still be in a great move? I could have GME at $16, 1643. Being a weekly trader is perfectly fine, and you get to touch grass more often than the rest of us. You're giving free info, at least give a like. Yeah, you know, you can't force, I'm not going to force anyone to do anything. I just hope that I'm helpful. But this is how a longer term trader would do this. They would look at a weekly scale. They'd see, look at that quadruple divergence, very clear down there. And you even got a short divergence right by the center line. This is a perfect setup. I wish I saw it that week. I wish I saw it. I saw it 2 weeks later on the big push. I wasn't paying attention to it. Then I educated myself, and now I'm like, ah, crap. Okay, now I'm going to start to scale in over time. Yeah, you can look at those ratios. If you have order flow, look, 0.94 now for the put call ratio. 0.94. Eventually, this is going to get up to these areas, and right here is where you want to pay attention for if they're starting to bounce the market. If they want a further pullback in the market to really convince people, we can see a spike like this. Okay, we can see a spike like that. So what's happening in the SPY? I would assume the SPY is pulling back more. I would assume the SPY is pulling back more, and this might be a moment where it really wants to pull back. Dollar creeping up, slowly creeping up. The Dow is positive. All right, so here you go. You're getting your pullback. Thank you. I'm doing multiple jobs. Yeah, if you have multiple jobs and you can't stare at stocks all day, then, you know, use the info in the course. Use the info you're learning here on a weekly scale. You can use it on any scale. What's true on a short scale is true on a big scale, and you'll just see less crazy stuff, or you'll have more time to react if you're seeing a crazy thing, and you're most likely going to make money. Trading on weekly scales, if you have a regular job, say you make even just $30,000 a year or something like that, something small, if you can just start to save up $1,000 a year and trade that based on weekly charts, you're going to make a ton of money over time. You will make more money than your 401k. Your 401k makes less money than if you just invested the same amount of money in the SPY throughout that whole time. That's why I'm a big believer in taking accountability for your money. If you want to grow your money, you have to be responsible. I said this to someone who emailed me. I sent them a long email. I helped them with an issue they were having. They were talking about something, and I just said, hey, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, is what I said. I said, you're pretty much like Spider-Man. You're the hero. With great power comes great responsibility, and being humble is part of that as well. It's never an easy time for the hero in a movie, right? And now you have the power because you took the course, and now you have the responsibility to be like, okay, I'm bad at trading 30-minute charts. Let me go up to a daily chart and just trade based on that and work really hard at my job. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that people are understanding what I'm saying when I say all this stuff, because it is very good things to keep in your mind. You have to be honest with yourself. Yeah, Night in America, Crypto Link. If we take a weekly play, do we have to monitor daily to not get screwed? Yeah, that's most likely what you have to do. So on the weekly scale, you technically have 5 days behind it. So the best thing to pay attention to is a daily. But you want to see if that daily is going positive. A lot of the time on the weekly scale with divergences, you see less crazy stuff. And if it turns down on a daily, you're going to have such a decent buy at that area that you probably just scale in. But you can manage that risk on a daily scale, yes. 0.95, thank you for notifying me, Robert. 0.951, 0.951, little bit higher, little bit higher. I have found that 0.956 is a good area. Look how 0.956, 0.956, we get above it, 0.956. That's really where I really like it. Above 1 is very good. That's where people got really overzealous, and then calls are very cheap. They could just sit it here all day, though, if they wanted to, and convince you, like, oh, if it doesn't go back up from here, it's not making a new high, and then it drops down a little, and then people get really, really bearish, and then it rips back up. Stay away from the minute chart. See, so the shorter time frame you get, so all the way, the reason I don't look at minute charts, unless I'm just having some fun, but the reason I don't look at minute charts is because you're going to see wild stuff. Any chance you can look at BBW? Yeah, I can look at it. Got my profit for the day. Still have 1 play active. Good job. Hopefully it was good for you, Polar Bear. Build a bear. Build a bear. 30-minute trying to go positive. Looks like it wants to roll back down negative territory. So you do have head and shoulders setting up here. So the 2 hour probably rolled up already. Okay, so if the 2 hour rolls up, you can be a contrarian, right? That would be a contrarian signal. You just want to make sure that's going positive, manage the trade. That's what we're teaching in the course. Managing the trade is probably one of the most important things we teach in the course. Sure, understanding the MACD is cool, like it's great, and going very in depth with it. If you take my course, you're probably going to understand it better than anyone else. But if you can just understand the MACD and learn how to manage your risk very tight, you will be very successful. You'll be very, very successful. So 2 hour curls up here. There's no real trade setup. You do have head and shoulders, and that 30 minutes trying to go positive. So if this curls up, you could see a reaction probably all the way up to 29.15, and then you might run into some trouble, right? The first source of liquidity. Damn, 0.943, still struggling to go up there. AMC and GME. AMC trying to go positive. So you see how the 30-minute, though, if the 30-minute rolls down, that would be your risk management. If the 30-minute rolls down, then you can't say there's upside on the 2 hour, right? We would need that to roll down and then roll back up. So liquidity is formed if you wanted to look at points of control or, oh shoot, what's it called? Oh God, what's the thing? Okay, I'm sorry, I used to use it. Someone would know. What's the thing that gives you all the bars like this? It's something volume. Something volume, isn't it? I used to use it. It's very, very cool. I like it a lot. It'll show you kind of liquidity areas. Volume profile, that's what it is. Volume profile is very cool if you need to find points of liquidity, but all you need to know is liquidity looks like this. Okay, you see this big downward move. All right, big downward move means probably not a lot of liquidity in this move, but where would be a lot of liquidity? Where you build up kind of a fight between bulls and bears. That means a lot of volume was being put in this area. So you would say a reaction to here would be some form of resistance because it's a liquidity zone where people might sell that off. And then if you can break through that, that would be a very good thing because you don't have as much liquidity in this move. You have a little bit here, but there's more liquidity here than over here because this is very tight area. So this here wouldn't have a lot, and you might just burst through that. But because you have this in front of you, that is a point where sellers can step in. That's how I view it. Yeah, volume profile is cool. I highly encourage you, if you're not the best at finding liquidity zones, I think volume profile is pretty damn good at doing it. I used to use it. Hopefully that made sense, Double Dark. I'm pretty sure we explained it pretty well. Probably another pop 10 minutes before close. Well, we just have to pay attention to what they're doing now. PCC at 0.9, about 0.95. XLU still dropping off, so the SPY probably needs to drop off just a little bit more to catch up to that, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. Puts are, I mean, calls are technically still cheaper than puts at this area. It's just I think they want that to be more profitable than this. Today has been boring. Yeah, usually it's the first 2 hours that's had some excitement, and then it's just a dud for a long time. Then it's just a dud for a long time. But we've seen these weird mornings where it kind of just struggles for the first hour, and then like pretty much at what, 9? Yeah, at 9:30 things will ramp up. So we'll probably see something in about 9 minutes happen. Stonks only go up, right? Yes, they only go up until they rug pull you. And then after they rug pull you, we put fake money into the system to make it only go up again. And then they rug pull you. And then we put fake money in, and then we see a big rug pull. And then we see fake money go into the system, and then they rug pull you. That's how the market works. So until we fix that problem, pretty much until we go back to the gold standard, this is the market we get. This is the market we get until we go to the gold standard. That's just how it works. Because as long as they can print fake money, then money technically loses value, and then assets will go up. As long as we have a 2% inflation forever, then technically all assets should go up at least by 2% every single year. Gold standard sucks. No, gold standard kind of like fluctuate. Now, the reason gold standard could suck is because if we didn't go from, like, if we didn't go away from the gold standard, we might not have smartphones right now. But the point of that is how the gold standard can help society is because the right things will be invested in at the right times. So once it was to a point where maybe people could, it just would have been slower. We would have got smartphones much slower because the development of those phones would have taken more time. We might have been able to point out problems, like privacy problems, like the fact that people are killing themselves more often because of cell phones, because of social media. We could have ran into that problem slower, figured it out, and then maybe phones wouldn't be as, I would say, you know, you're listened to at all times. They're listening to me right now, right? Because my phone's next to me. So that is what could have happened. Computers would have happened slower, right? But it would have happened in tandem. It's kind of like cars. Like, look at it like cars, okay? Cars, when we first made, like, let's say the Ford came out, and that got made. Okay, 100 years later now, we are at the point to where, or maybe it's more than 100, I don't know when the first car was made, but years and years and years later, now we have electric vehicles. That's kind of how it works. But now we're seeing electric vehicles scale up dramatically, right? We saw cars get really, really good from like 1990 to 2000. They started to get way better. And then now we're seeing electric cars. You see how we were ramping up exponentially. So, but that was the gold standard slowed that down, right? But now we're seeing what? Computers got implemented. 10 years later, they got even better. 10 years later, they got even better. We got social media. We got computers in our cell phones. And then 10 years later, we get AI. It's like, bruh. Yeah, we can check AMC on the weekly as well. You guys just interested to see like how you trade, like even stuff like this on a weekly chart? Yeah, you can look at this on a weekly scale as well. And look at this. AMC showed you a similar signal, right? We have a divergence down here, right here. You have a flat divergence. Now it's not on the MACD and RSI. Now, I want you to pay attention why AMC is probably the more rigged one. Why AMC, I believe, is the more rigged one, is the more shorted one than even GME. And I think people are sleeping on it. Look at this RSI behavior down here. You do not see this often. Now, you could say this is the weaker company, but we talked about the fact that if we did not have AMC, a lot of cities wouldn't even have movie theaters. They wouldn't have movie theaters, but technically AMC told you right around here, like, hey, yeah, I'm crossing up. So around 750, you would say, is maybe fair value at that point. So we're below that at this point. So that's why I think this is manipulated. Now, if you go back to a daily scale, this is going to be maybe a little bit more helpful. You'll see on the daily scale, we actually created a divergence down here and completed it. Okay, so right here, AMC said to buy at 315. But do you see how looking at the higher time frames, I can see that? I can see all of that. If I probably go look at a monthly or something like that, I'm going to see a simple crossing up of the MACD maybe or something like that. See how it's crossing up as of right now? This tells me on the monthly scale, this is where I should invest. Isn't that crazy? This is where it is saying on the monthly scale, this is an investment. That's what an investor would do. They would look at a monthly chart, they would see it cross up, and then they would invest for a few months. We see it cross up. Okay, they invest, they see that roll back down. They go, oh, not the right time, not the right timing. Now I have divergence behind it on the monthly scale right here. So technically before AMC made this whole pop higher, if you were paying attention to a monthly chart, you would have bought AMC at 25.68. It ran all the way up to about $400. Monthly charts can work, guys. Now you're seeing that cross up. This is a moment where you should pay attention. Because when you cross up, what are you? Contrarian bull. It's still bearish. But if that can go positive, you might see something crazy. But look how many months it took to happen. So this could take months to play out. Let's go look at Nvidia real quick. Direction for Nvidia, I think they're just, what was it, 30 minute? I think they just sell this thing off a little bit. Now it's holding up above that 1,140 point. That's very important, but I think you have 15-minute divergence here. So you do have 15-minute divergence here, but what are you doing? What are you doing that's very important? 30-minute is positive. That's great. Okay. And you got to a point where a cup and handle would be awesome. So what if we have the cup, now we create the handle, we see some kind of dip down, maybe even fill the gap, and then we just see this turn back up. Anytime this turns back up, it will be a good moment for Nvidia. But we haven't even crossed over on the 30-minute, so we have to still talk positively about it. And right now it's hitting support. We'll see what happens. I really just want to see what's happening in the SPY, though. Not able to curl over as of yet. XLU starting to bounce. XLU is starting to bounce again. So looks like XLU might go off to the races. We'll see if that difference between the SPY and XLU happens. PCC at 0.93. Maybe that's all they need, right? They don't have to get it higher than that. As long as the puts are a little bit more expensive than the calls, they can make money. We can look at AMD. AMD starting to bounce. Remember, okay, there's your confirmation of upside right here, or confirmation of a contrarian bullish signal. And then that was given away. This says this isn't the moment. Now you might get that again with some kind of little 5-minute divergence. Look at this little 5-minute divergence here. Curls up, positive territory. That is where you have a chance that that 30-minute rolls up. This 5-minute here is a gray area. It's a great signal because now the 5-minute can do something like this, right? Try to see if we ever made a 5-minute divergence. You can see down here before this run up, you had a divergence on the MACD, not on the RSI at the same time really, but boom, that was able to go positive. As long as it's able to go positive, it's a good thing. So AMD on a 5-minute looks pretty good. Now that's a 5-minute. You can see crazy shit. So you want to make sure the 30-minute is going positive. But the 5-minute could be like, hey, I'm going to take a small stab at this, see if this goes positive. 30-minute crosses up. Now you can be confident and manage that risk. Carvana. Someone did mention Carvana earlier. 30-minute rejection divergence looks pretty good there. If that can go positive, that's a good thing. Is the 2-hour curling up? That would be my major confirmation. 2-hour curled up. Carvana looks decent here. Carvana looks decent here. Now, the thing is, you are a contrarian bull if you're thinking about this. You need that 30-minute to go positive. You need the 2-hour to go positive for that to be bullish again. Right now, you're pretty far away from the center line. You could just see some kind of pop and drop right back down. So I'd be paying attention to your risk. It's a very important thing if you're trading short time frames. Short time frames, it's really important to pay attention to risk. Big time frames, it's like, okay, if I missed out on my exit for the risk like a couple days later, it's like, oh, okay, that's fine. But if you miss out on your exit on a 30-minute trade, then you only have like 15 minutes to really react, right? And Uber looks good. Let's go check on Uber. I'm down to check on that again. That setup looked good. There you go, 2 hours. See how the 2-hour, you just need that to go positive. You see how it's closer to the center line, why this looks better than Carvana on the 2-hour scale? It's really close to the center line. If that just curls up, you can see a big positive move, right? Then you just want to manage the risk. You want to see, is the daily turning up? Well, it already turned up and it has divergence, but that's far away. So this might be some kind of test of the 50, right? We might react all the way up to $66 to $70-ish and then just see that fade back down. Because the daily here is far away from the center line. Now, if that blows past that and goes positive, good sign. But you got to manage your risk throughout the whole thing. 9.5. AMC flipping back to negative, down. Oh, now it's up 0.21. It keeps flipping positive and negative. GME down about 4.5%. See, this on a 30-minute is all we have to look at. You could probably look at it on 15 for now, but you're kind of flagging. So 15-minute pop, you really need confirmation. 30-minute chart is what I pay attention to. If you get confirmation of that, you can go up towards 47.57, I think. I think this is the big resistance line. And then for AMC, we just know that the short sellers need this. Actually, if you really research it, the short sellers need this down to like $2. So the longer you remain above 437, the better, the more damage you're doing to the short sellers. If you remain above 5, though, you see 550 always holds. $5 usually is like they don't want it to remain above there very long. So $5 very important, 550 very important, but the most important is $7, $7.39. But if that will maybe pull back even further and then curl back up. XLU kind of breaking even. Apple, what are you doing? What are you doing, Apple? All right, 30-minute, maybe going to go make a divergence here. Might be clearer on a 15. If it's clearer on the 15, you see it on the 30-minute could form, but this makes it more clear. That's a good thing. Boom, we get some kind of reaction up to 196. That would be cool. SPY hasn't even rolled over a 15-minute yet. CRM. Salesforce. Why does that remind me of like what's that show with the guy from The Office? Space Force. I actually thought Space Force was kind of funny. I thought it was really stupid. I love stupid humor. CRM, 15-minute divergence. You do not want this to cross down. First of all, that is a good probability that you're going to go negative. Look how close you are. So be careful with that. 30-minute, though, up by the center line. So this is what happens, right, with earnings. This is when we say, you know, you can swing trade in earnings. The direction was already chosen, down. You have a 15-minute divergence here. Okay, if that completes, this 30-minute is most likely going to roll over. Where is the 30-minute? It's negative, okay? So if it rolls over, it's negative, boom. Now, this doesn't mean this can't double bottom. It doesn't mean we can't get tapering. It doesn't mean we can't see this hold up a little bit better. You just want to pay attention anytime that rolls back up into positive territory. That means positivity. 78 bones. Scott's moving quick today. Dell looks shitty. We were looking at Dell last week, and this was not the better play. 30-minute gets close to the center line, that curls down, but you do have tapering here. That's a good sign for a bounce, but I like my 30-minute signals. I like to wait till things are clear. If I don't see things are clear, then I will not take the trade. It is a very, very simple concept. If I'm just patient, there will be a trade set up. Look, there's a divergence right here that completed right here. Okay, awesome. 15-minute divergence. Yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Now it's up by the center line. If the 15-minute crosses down, there's no reason for me to think that this can't drop. There's no reason for me to think that has to go up. If this just curls down, where is it? Negative territory. So, Dell, a lot of the time you'll see a second move. Sure, it's trying to base out. That's great and all. But if that just curls down on this MACD at any time, it's negative. Okay, which means test the low, go make a new one. Then you can look for a divergence. This would be better, right? Toby's growling. Hold on. All right, $200 profit on my play that I was 600 down on. Polar Bear, congrats. I'm glad that one flipped around for you. Manage that risk a little better, and maybe you just find the swing a little bit sooner. Maybe you already did manage that risk. That's very good, Polar Bear. Congratulations, $200 profit. Adobe. Let's look at Adobe, and then I will take a look at MP Dubs. See, Adobe's similar situation, right? Getting close to the center line, the direction was chosen, and you were able to make a higher low here. So the 15-minute might be pretty positive. Let's see. See how the 15-minute is able to go positive here. Now, if that rolls down, that's not a good sign, okay? If that rolls down, you could come and test this low again. You could test this low. You could go make a new one. Why? Negative territory is there, okay? So maybe, just maybe, the 2-hour is a better confirmation if you see this actually swing up. Notice this hasn't confirmed yet. You still have the opportunity for a 15-minute fake out, and then that turns back up in the future. It means you might be right in saying there's some kind of bigger bounce here, but you just might not be right at this moment. You might be right in like a couple of hours, right? See something like that happen. So me personally, I see the 15-minute, I see it's overbought, and I'm thinking, okay, this at least needs to base out and then curl back up. So I'd be looking for this to turn down and turn right back up. Then I would be like, okay, that 2-hour can cross, 2-hour momentum can take over. SPY, we're probably going to cross down on this 15-minute. Look at that behavior. That is awful. So this is actually what is happening right now. You're building liquidity very tightly on the 15-minute here. A lot of bars within this area. So what does that tell me? Well, a move up or a move down is going to be a little bit bigger. And then, what was it? MPW. Medical Properties Trust. Oh, 15-minute by the center line, curls up, positive territory, positive move. Check on a 30-minute though, just crossed over. So I do like my prolonged 30 minutes, but you can pay attention to 15-minute and little stuff like this that's popping. The thing about this here is, I don't know, earnings, okay. Yeah, you'd really want a good 30-minute pullback and then curl back up. But as of right now, you would say, hey, there's some positivity in this move. So a 15-minute, it looks very flaggy here. It's by the center line. If the 15-minute curls up, cool. That means maybe test the high, go make a new one. I can't really say how high that would be. That's why I like weekly ranges. But if we're going to see this not curl up and go negative, then I would pull up my 30 minutes, see that get close to the center line, and try to curl back up. Wait for the indicators to tell you what to do, and you just push the buttons. You sold 1 minute later, it would have been nearly double. Damn, so close. AMC back, and you say it is a good entry. Not yet. 15 minutes not telling me it's a good entry yet. According to my strategies with momentum, this is not a good entry yet. You want to wait till that momentum is with you. Right now, you're fighting against a pullback, and you might even go negative. Right now on the 30-minute, you're fighting against a pullback, right? This is a pullback. It is a bearish contrarian indication in positive territory. It's still positive, it's still great, but until that flips back up, that's not, the indicators aren't telling me that there's momentum to the upside. But I'm still holding the stock. You know, I'm still holding the stock. That's all. I don't have any emotion behind this. That's why I can talk about it very, the only emotion I have behind it is I want to screw over short sellers. But also, hold on. See these closing bars? Oh my gosh, I think if we dip down to 37, we grab liquidity all throughout this. You see how we're struggling to go down? We're grabbing liquidity all throughout this. Then we create this right shoulder. That would be very cool. I'm going to keep that line at 518. I like it. Friday pop gut. Well, it could be with the split, and then they're going to blame Nvidia. They're going to blame, if Nvidia rug pulls, they're going to blame it on something else. They're not going to tell you that it was the higher up people having to take profit in order to pay for this AMC nonsense. They might just blame AMC and GME, but technically the reason that a lot of retail traders will lose money is if they hold Nvidia and Nvidia sees some kind of rug pull, that will hurt them more than if they just bought $300 worth of AMC, right? That would be a lot worse to lose something that has a value of say 1,000 and it goes down to, I don't know, 850, 950, right? That's a big drop versus the risk to reward that's going on with AMC and GME. USO, yeah, we can look at USO. Oh, we're at 0.95 now. Ooh, see, it's not a very good look. The only thing that'll help you is shorter time frame, but what you'd like to see from USO is a bounce here, and you want to be patient. It doesn't mean play the bounce. It means watch that bounce, and if it sets up a good trade for you, you see tapering. You need tapering here because you're just falling off a cliff. So you need some kind of tapering here in order to take the trade, right? And then you'll see this start to happen. Boom. And then that would be a much better look. As a longer term play, if you're looking at a longer term play, you always, first of all, I would just say maybe even start with like a weekly, right? So if we're looking at this and this is a big drop, and let's look at a weekly. Well, the weekly just crossed over negative territory. What is telling me that this has to go up over time? Now, you're going to see a lot of crazy things in between, but you're trading based on a weekly chart at this point because you said you want to invest for the long term. If this weekly crosses up, that's where you think, hey, this has a few months of positivity in it. That's how you got to think about a weekly chart. This has a couple of months of positivity in it. Now, if you're going even extended out and you want to hold this for even longer, let's look at a monthly because this thing is going negative. There is no reason on the monthly scale for crude oil to go up right now, right? This is very, very simple. This is what I'm talking about. You don't have to do the shorter time frames. I know that everyone on the internet, me, myself included, who is a trader, who trades on the shorter time frames, I get it. It looks nice, but you can make a lot of easy money by just saying, hey, this crossed up positive territory with divergence on crude oil here. Boom, there's my buy at $43. That ran all the way up to $122. Look at that. This is a profit And look at this. This is what I'm saying. You can make a lot of money off of daily, monthly, weekly charts. This is about, let's say, 2 years. You made 161% in 2 years. That is money to be made. If you had $10,000, now you have about $25,000. I hope that helps, though, Family Adventures. Really, really think about how you're trying to, if you say the word invest, I want you to look at how long you're trying to invest. If it's only a couple of months, a weekly chart. If it's going to be maybe a full year, okay, you maybe want to look at a monthly chart because you can see monthly positivity if you see signals like this. You can do all the same stuff. You can do all the same stuff that you're doing on the shorter time frames, on the bigger time frames. You just won't see as crazy of stuff. Notice this is one divergence. It didn't curl back down and go negative. Now what's happening? Well, the monthly is by the center line. If that curls up for a month, then you can run all the way back up to test the high, go make a new one. So that would mean what? If this curls up and let's say it goes above 84.72, kind of our point where we're talking about, okay, there you go. You can make 50%. You can now turn that, because you did it in the past. Let's say you went 10,000, 25,000, you sell, okay, because you're like, that's a great profit. I'm marking off some levels up here, anywhere up here I'm happy with. Okay, cool. Maybe I see weekly divergence here. Okay, I'm out. Okay, now I'd be patient for a full year and a half, and then I see that turn back up. Now, a year and a half later, I have an opportunity again to turn $25,000 into maybe $32,000 or $37,000. Boom, there it is. $37,000. Look, in 4 years, you've just turned $10,000 into $37,000 by looking at one stock on one chart. Very cool, isn't it? Very, very cool. Now, I think that there's going to be a big drop in tech stocks, big drop. So I'm going to be paying attention to a monthly chart over the next couple of years. And if that curls up, I'm going to start to invest. Great. It's great. Well, indicators, MACD, RSI, and then I have I do have the Bollinger Bands for the daily charts. And I think I have them on the weekly and monthly. So the bigger time frames have the Bollinger Bands. And then also I just have a 550 and a 200, and then I have a 20 EMA. So and I have SMAs of a 550 and a 200. You can just type this in the indicator section up here. And I would just turn off the buy and sell things. They are not going to help you as much as you think, especially on the shorter time frames. They can maybe work on the higher ones, but the shorter ones, it's not going to help you as much as you think. It will fake you out sometimes. You need to have 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. If you can form 7, I had about 8 reasons to tell me that was a trap last week. This week, with the traps we're seeing, I'm not having those same 8 reasons. That's why it's a little bit harder to say. You want those big reasons. I think this was 15 minute. Did this cross over? Not yet. 0.95 put call ratio. So this is where they can start to bounce the market. So we're paying attention to Nvidia for a second. I'm just keeping it in my eye on the right side. Waiting for your moment. See, patience is your friend. Imagine this. I just said $10,000 and you could have 160% of that on oil. Okay, cool. Now all you have to do is say, all right, so if I really wanted to, I could not look at charts for a year and a half. It looks like some kind of major top is forming. I could not look at charts for a year and a half, 2 years. I could just work really hard, save as much money as possible, and then buy something that I enjoy, buy something that I understand. I really understand tech stocks. That's something I understand. What do you think about VST in the next 2 hours? Damn, that is a precise thing. You have 15-minute divergence. I like it to be on a 30, but you do have 15-minute divergence. You don't have 30-minute divergence. See how 30-minute you don't confirm the divergence, and you're just seeing the same algorithmic selling, okay? Down, build up. Watch that guy with that funny voice. Look for the structure. Look for the structure. He would love this, right? Big algorithmic sell. Structure. Big algorithmic sell. Now they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller. That's when you'll create divergences. But what's stopping this from doing this and then creating a stronger base with a double bottom? You know, I'd like to see a stronger divergence than this. It's not too significant. And you don't even have it on the RSI at the same time. Now you have a dip down. Now this curls up and then curls back down. this would be a more significant divergence. So you've got to wait for the setup if you're looking at the shorter time frames. Apple, it created a 15-minute divergence. I'm wondering if that's completing. It tried to create the 15-minute divergence, actually. I should wait before I talk. 15-minute could pop up to here. That'd be good. It's still green. The 15-minute is close to the center line. If this starts to roll over, it could mean bad things. Could mean a more 30-minute pullback, right? Further 30-minute pullback. Then we see a big bounce up. Then we rip that away. I think Nvidia ends up higher by the end of the week. But we'll have to see. If this 30-minute rolls over, you can test this low, go make a new one. So be careful with it. But right now you're holding up at the support. You do have divergences up here, but 15-minute divergences almost never work out for Nvidia. You got to wait till there's a 30-minute. I would say you got to wait till there's a 2-hour, right? This is what I'm paying attention to. See that curling up? If I see that 2-hour divergence pop up, you bet your ass I'm going to take that trade. But I don't encourage people to trade Nvidia. It's very, very difficult to do. Same thing, AMD, it's the same type of thing. It doesn't have a split. If Nvidia is going to make a 2-hour upward move, AMD could see that 2-hour upward move, and you have triple divergence or multiple point divergence over here. Hope that was helpful, JC. But I want you to notice that that is just straight down selling. Straight down selling. Now it's getting smaller. You just want to wait for the moment where you really see tapering. You're not really seeing tapering. Scalp these Ponzi markets. Yeah, you're quick with it, Polar Bear, and it's working for you. Quick with it's perfectly fine. XLU, we saw that drop back off. You see this dropping back off. Now you look like you might curl over on a 2-hour. That could mean we're testing the low, going to make a new one. Let's look a little tighter. Let's go with a 30-minute here. Notice that's pulling back to the center line. Wasn't able to curl back up. We do have a weekly range for you for XLU because this is our crash signal. If XLU is dropping off, then the market most likely will drop off a little bit further here. I think the market does drop off a little bit here. But they're just waiting for people to go to the call side maybe, or they're going to try to drop this and then pop it really quick. Because now you're at 0.98. Look at this. 0.98. Here's the dollar. Nothing really forming for the dollar just yet. I think we have the potential for a 30-minute drop today. And then going into tomorrow, we get some data. Let me look if that data comes out in the pre-market. ISM Services PMI comes out at 30 minutes after the open. So if we go to lower levels throughout all of today or sometime today, and then that continues tomorrow, and then we get a bad PMI or a good PMI, depending on the reaction, well, then you might see this run up. Right now, the market is not dropping significantly, and what are we seeing? We're seeing puts increase. We're seeing puts increase. Retail is starting to get a little freaked out, and they're buying a bunch of puts, and now they might drop the market to make those go ballistic and then rip it all away tomorrow morning. Maybe even by end of day. We'll see. Might go buy one of these at Best Buy today just to see if I can get the Wi-Fi better down here. PC's just jumped above. Yeah, see, PCC's jumping. You want to see if they really, like right now, they don't want to drop the market because everyone would be kind of right, I think. So that's not really the goal. But everyone might take shorts on Nvidia, and then Nvidia just holds up pretty well. It's still above our 1,140 level. Momentum's still positive. Still positive. Everyone's like I said, this is a squeeze potential now because everyone's getting too What? Everyone's getting too fearful before anything happens, right? Your indicators have not told you there is a pullback coming in this overall move right now. It's saying upside. It's saying positivity. Nothing has told you downside yet. If we even wanted to go 15, we could see if a 15 is crossing over. That might give us a hint. It hasn't crossed over yet. Hasn't crossed over yet. And they could just drop this for, say, a couple of hours and then pull it back up. Leaning to squeeze 2. That's what it looks like when the PCC goes this high and nothing has happened and you're positive. You can start to just squeeze people. Let's take a gander over at AMC and GME on a 15-minute. That has not curled up yet, but look at that. It's starting to push. Starting to push on AMC. GME down across the center line. Now it's negative. That is not a good thing on a 15-minute. You need that to curl back up. That is where if someone came into the chat and said, hey, good entry for GameStop. If I saw a green bar right here and this crossed in positive territory, I would agree with you. Yes, Sloth. Yes, good. You guys are paying attention to the right things now. This is great. This is fantastic, Sloth. You are paying attention to the right thing now. How do you find the names? Well, something you can always look at is things like any kind of commodity or something like that. But you see how this is dropping off while the market's holding up? XLU is saying that the market might catch up to this. That's a bigger pullback now. But you're right, Sloth, in saying the 2-hour can now confirm this down and maybe go make a divergence down here, or just a higher low, right? A higher low. I stuttered because I was like, higher low. This could all just be some kind of big dramatic handle to go down into a liquidity zone. You notice we're cutting through. Now we have liquidity. Now we have liquidity in this box right here. We have liquidity. So we could hold up right at that weekly expected move. That's why the weekly expected moves are very helpful. If you want them for the individual stocks that I cover, then I would encourage you to go try out the Patreon for a month. It'll cost you a cup of coffee. You can see if you like it. Very, very good to pay attention to. Now, Lisa, if you're looking for good long-term investment names for good entry, I would really, really look at things that you use every day. Things that you use every day that you understand. So Lisa, I assume you are a woman. Okay, awesome. If you pay attention to beauty companies, if you use an Apple phone, right? If you use a Dell computer, if you use Intel Core i7 in your computer, if you use, if you have a Tesla, if you have a Ford, if you have anything that you personally use and you enjoy. Personally, I went and I watched a movie at a movie theater at AMC. I kind of like it. It just curled up on its monthly. That looks like a long-term play. You know how a lot of the biggest people who invested their money with low amounts of money, who invested their money over time, who didn't have 401ks, do you know what they did? Do you know what Dave Portnoy did? How he made a lot of money? He said, I go to Target once a week. I like Target. I wonder what the stock is priced at. He knew nothing about technical analysis. He knew nothing about stocks. And he bought Target, and then Target went way up over time. I love unhealthy food, McDonald's. Hey, if you love McDonald's, that's perfectly fine. Look, Macy's. No, maybe not Macy's. We'll see. If you love McDonald's, 2-hour divergence, then you could say, okay. But you would say, okay, is this an investment for a few months? Well, I have weekly divergence forming. McDonald's looks like it's reacting off of its weekly 200, and not necessarily divergence, by the way. This is a higher low at this point. So this would be, if this crosses up, it looks like McDonald's could have a good couple of months. You just have to be cautious with that. Is it curling over on the monthly, or are we seeing something different since you're talking about investing? Well, that's still pointing down. And I had a bunch of divergences, which means it could really see a drop off. Okay? So notice up here we didn't have divergences, so this looks like a pullback. Invest. Awesome. The last time an investor would maybe look at McDonald's was right here at a price point of $113. Now it is worth $259. That is a good investment. You can't argue that it's not. The monthly on XLU has turned up. It has not turned back down. So technically, you would say right here would be a good investment on XLU. Buy the center line. Positive territory. Now, you did have divergence here. It could go make another one. But then you want to say, maybe I need to look at, because it's high up, right? It's high up. Last time it curled down here, it looked pretty good. Now it's like, ooh, there is divergence here. This could be a dead cat bounce. I have to be aware of those types of things. If you just know those little bits, you will be a better investor than a lot of people. You'll probably be a better investor than Kathy Wood. Yeah, I'm glad that people are asking questions about investing, because trading is not for everyone. Trading is investing. Investing, you should trade your investments. A lot of people would say, hold forever. It's like, no, if you know technical analysis and you see weakness in a monthly chart, you probably should not hold forever. You probably should wait. And then if that curls back up into positive territory, it's a good sign. Ooh, now they drop the market. Everyone likes the fact that they're making money, and then we bounce off in between this zone between the daily and the monthly, or daily and the weekly expected move. That'd be solid. G-Wave, we haven't looked at G-Wave today. Yeah, this thing is just dying. You might get some 30-minute tapering divergence here. Let's see. You have 1 point of divergence, but this thing is just dying fast. Like I said, once the AMC and GME thing is most likely to happen, notice that these saw their pops. That's great and all. Don't expect it to continue when everyone's flowing money into AMC and GME. Those are the big dogs. Those are going to have a big popular name to them now. But 2 hour crossed up, it's like, oh yeah, but this looks like hell. This looks not good. But if you get this to maybe go sideways even longer, get closer to that center line, if you see a divergence up here, then I would say, hey, yeah, this could see a pop. Gold, what are you doing? Gold's making a divergence right now. Maybe I want to just see if I can get in a little bit sooner on a 15-minute. Okay, there's no divergence on a 15-minute, so I want to make sure there's confirmation on a 30-minute. I love that phrasing. Apple looks strong. Yeah, Apple's still holding up at higher levels. I'm just being very aware, very cautious of this 15-minute rolling over, but it looks like it's really trying to base out and head higher. If that 15-minute can just remain positive, not curl over, curl down, then you don't really say there's negativity. Now you have to be aware of it because it's very close, but I think Apple does see some kind of pop higher. But I'm going to wait and see if the SPY pulls back more here. I think, look at that, crossing over on a couple bars. I think now you have confirmation, hey, this is going to pull back. As of right now, that is the take. That can change very quickly. This could just go whoop, and then it changes, right? You have to be quick with it. Flip-flopping as a trader is a very good thing. No, this tells me I should not expect a bounce here for the SPY. This tells me I should actually expect downside, and maybe we go towards a daily expected move. Maybe we go towards a weekly expected move. That's what it tells me for the SPY. And the reason I'm saying that as well is just because XLU, look at that thing. That is coming down, and that is coming down fast. So I want to see when the 30-minute is close to the center line, it's probably going to be down here by the weekly expected move. Look at that. Boom. Okay, now if this is able to curl up at any time, that could mean that the SPY is going to catch up to the downside, and then the SPY is going to bounce. As of right now, yeah, calls came in a little bit there, went back below 0.95. SPY, it hasn't crossed over on my 30-minute though, so I think a 30-minute pullback makes the most sense. A 30-minute 15, like going down to this area makes a lot of sense to me, but it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what's actually happening. Flat divergences, you want to wait till it's clear. Sloth. It'll really help you out if you just say, this one's not clear. If something isn't clear to you, would you do it? So it's kind of like if you had a really dark alleyway that was an easy way to get to your car at 2 a.m. when everyone's out on a Saturday night partying, and you just heard a gunshot, you're like, man, that way does not look very clear. But if you see an alleyway that's pretty lit up and you can see your car at the end of the tunnel and there's a nice lady selling hats and it's maybe midnight and you don't hear any gunshots, that's a little bit more clear, a little less risky. Right? Trading, everything that we talk about, you can think about it in real life concept and think, oh, okay, risk to reward, risk to reward, risk to reward. How's Uber doing now? Let's go check. We don't want to check on it too much, guys. You just want to be confident and do your risk management. Now we're seeing a 15-minute that wants to curl over. So what did we play here? We had a 2-hour divergence play to the upside. So as long as this 30-minute doesn't cross down, then we're fine. As long as this 30-minute doesn't cross down, then you're fine. It's positive. So most likely there's going to be some kind of pullback. That's perfect. That's what we set up here. I said I would wait the 15-minute, right up here is where I said the 15 minutes overbought. Okay, it's going to pull down and then curl back up. That's perfectly fine. It can pull down and pull back up. You just don't want that 30-minute to fully roll over, in my opinion. Good play. What? Oh yeah. That's a cat. Did you guys know I can make cat noises? Made me pretty cool in college. No, it didn't. All right, so around this area here, it said no chance for upside, so we shouldn't be taking upside around here. You'd lose 10% really, really fast. It was tapering, but I want you to notice we violated that right now. So is this a good trade setup? Not the best right now. There's other trades that look better. Larger than COVID? Jesus. So 15-minute hasn't rolled negative. Bullish divergence on Meta. And I don't see any bullish divergence. I see a 30-minute crossing over for a pullback. Maybe to go grab liquidity in here, liquidity in here, liquidity in here. You see how the support is very obvious here? So I would say this gap fill might happen today because that 30-minute crossed up. Now, if that just curls up at any time, okay, positivity. But right now, you can't really say that that's going to go up on a 30-minute chart. We're on a Microsoft and things. Microsoft trying to go positive. That's cool. Point of liquidity. We can burst through that. That'd be good. Maybe we need a stronger base, right? Maybe we need stronger bases before heading up. These all look like they need stronger bases, like we could see some kind of drop here. But I don't think they want to drop it. Why do they not want to drop it? Well, because retail's being smart here, and they have puts. Retail's being smart. There's no real reason for GameStop to be up towards $30. Maybe if you get this 15-minute to cross over soon, but this looks like flagging to head a little lower. But if this can cross up right here, look at this, 15-minute by the center line. If that can cross up right here, you may see some positivity. You may even get up to this level right here. You may create a left. You may create the head. You may get a right shoulder. You may end up going up later on. So if the 15-minute curls up, I could say, like, you have to have a reason for what you're saying, right? 30-minute MACD went green for GME. It didn't. It did not. No, it didn't. Now it's positive. This is a pullback. It's positive. That's why we're kind of looking at the 15 minutes a little tighter, but the 15-minute is not green. MACD. QQQ, we haven't looked at QQQ yet. Let's look at that. We haven't looked at QQQ too much. 30-minute crosses over. We may make a divergence down by the weekly expected move. That looks pretty likely. The 15 minutes already curled over probably here. It hasn't yet, but it looks like it wants to. It's just they know, the market maker algorithm knows that there's too many puts. Retail's actually being kind of smart here, according to the technicals. Yeah, and your MACD could have different settings. Your MACD could have different settings than mine. I like the 9 smoothing. This could be the only thing that's different, and I go on the close. The 9 smoothing, I've used that a lot. That's why I've done this a lot. The 9 smoothing is very, very good. So technically, what the 9 smoothing means is it's reacting based on a 9 moving average, not a 5. I don't want my MACD to be tight. I don't want that smoothing to be too tight because it can fake me out. I want a 9 because that is a significant push there if it's able to curl up. GME will crash? No. No. No, 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 no. Not yet. If it says it's going to, the charts will tell us. Right now, it's telling us, hey, I could curl up on this 15-minute, I'd be positive, but the 15-minute's negative. So that's why the 30-minute actually says, and I'm holding GME, by the way, just the 30-minute is saying, I'm still positive. This is just a pullback. So until this goes negative, we don't have to be worried at all, right? If you're being risk managed, it makes sense to get out right on this bar, and you're going to see a drop. There's your drop. Now, if that curls back up, you might see more positive price action. And I said stock market crash. Actually, GME and AMC pumping would cause the stock market to crash. We've talked about that a lot. Yeah, the gamma squeeze. Yeah, you have it right. So a gamma squeeze in GME and AMC, if there is, and we kind of know there is at this point, if there is enough short sellers doing the naked shorting, which we know there is in AMC. I know for a fact it's in AMC. I've done my research. Retail's holding 98% of the stocks, so they have to borrow shares and they have to naked short in order to keep it down like this. So that just tells me if AMC and GME are able to go up, then we will see a stock market crash. If the stock market does not crash while GME and AMC go up, it could be a fake pump. AMC on the prowl. You guys like the meowing? I can do a baby cry too, but see AMC too. It's not even negative on the 15-minute. Actually, AMC looks better than GME on the 15-minute here. It's holding up better. So if AMC is able to cross up, get above that 518, that looks like where they're really trying to hold it below. Didn't BRKA already crash short? No. BRKA got fixed. What they were doing yesterday is they don't want to get in trouble for halting AMC and GME a bunch. So they, say that there's glitches in the system. So Chipotle did the same thing if you want to go look at Chipotle crypto link. But I believe BRKA was fixed, wasn't it? That is just a quote unquote glitch. Look, it's right back up, and it actually surged by a huge percentage. A glitch happens, it goes down by 99%, it goes up for 20%, and then we see some kind of a rug pull. Probably people just taking profit. Maybe that was even Warren Buffett himself taking profit for a second, then buying it back. We gotta watch AMC for a minute here. Yeah, it's just a glitch, but that glitch, we already talked about how you can spot how there's, since there's 243 people in here, hopefully you were here yesterday and you were able to understand how you know that this stock is rigged is right here. This is a halt. That means trading on the stock is halted, yet you notice when it opens back up, it gaps down. The same thing happened for AMC. When it halted, we watched it in real time. It gapped down, okay? This is how you know that short sellers are using the halts to gap it down, to force it down. Now they can calculate how much they need to force it down. Boom, they have the exact amount that they need to force it back down at that point. That is how you know it is rigged. This is not supposed to happen. A stock is halted on trading. Even on trading view, that means it's halted probably across the board. That means, okay, then when it opens back up, it should be at the same level. It's not. That's how you know short sellers are doing funky stuff, and you know that the problem is real. So anyone on the internet who's telling you the problem's not there, it's two things. Either they are stupid and they haven't done their research, or they are a shill. A lot of blue check marks trying to get Roaring Kitty in jail for just showing people his trade. That is not illegal. People do it all the time. It's not illegal. It's illegal for congressmen to trade stocks that they know insider info on, but that never comes up. That is the real illegal activity. What's a shill? A shill is someone who will, who is a plant. It's pretty much someone who would be like, what would you say? Like a spy. Someone who gives you false info so that you do what the other side wants. So you do what your enemy wants. Exactly. It's a rule for you, but not for me, right? Or something like that. So a shill is someone who says, if this crosses up into positive territory, a shill is someone who would say, oh, AMC looks horrible. AMC is dead. AMC can't make an upward move. Your indicator is telling you that that person is a shill. No, not Keith Shill. Keith Hill. Keith Gill. Sorry. Keith Gill is, I think you know he's not part of the hedge funds. You know he's not. But why would he do that? He was against him for so long. His movement proved to be so much. He saw the reaction to his movement. Why would he flip and be like, oh, I'm against that now? Why would all the people on the internet be saying that his screenshots that he posted were photoshopped when they're obviously not? I've been looking at unusual whale activity and they're real. The options numbers are real, but you have shills out there telling you that it's photoshopped. It's not photoshopped. The orders were there. They were confirmed. It was real. Just like how the media was a shill last week, telling you that you have to be scared that the rates are going to go up. Just like they were saying the market is selling off because the rates can go up, and they scared everyone. They were lying to you. Buy triple bottom on the 5. They just don't want the market to go down. Retail, I think, is being very smart here. Retail's doing it correctly. 15-minute cross. This is correct right now to have, like, I would say, shorts as far as this goes. But if this just turns back up, they can squeeze those shorts and just flip it the other way. The reason I know that this is the correct reaction is because of XLU. Look at that thing. This is what we used last week. Look at that thing. Now it's going down to that weekly expected move. Now, if they're not going to follow XLU to a T because they're doing funky stuff with the options, then XLU might hold up right here. It's going negative, so we have to talk negatively on a 15. But what did I say? The 30 minutes going to be by that center line once we approach the weekly expected move, and we could just turn right back up. Now, we have to be open to multiple scenarios. If the 2-hour confirms this down, which it looks like it might, remember that 30-minute can just turn up, and this could reject. So the next 2 hours are going to be very important for XLU. Now, right when everyone's bearish, XLU does this, then it creates a stronger bottom. That means that the daily can now turn up. I told you it could play out in a million different ways. We just let the signals tell us what's going on. Those are average industry standards for MACD. Yeah, perfect. Well, some people out there have changed those values. I didn't change them. I know that I've clicked into my MACD to make sure it's matching up to what I use. So in a volatile market, I like to switch my 5 to a 9 because when the MACD crosses, that means price action will be above a 9 moving average. I hear you, Miles, and I just can't say those types of things, but I can tell you how momentum indicators work and help you learn about how momentum indicators work. Right now, AMC, is it able to curl up on a 15-minute? The 2-hour is creeping up positive. That is a good sign, but the 15-minute has to cross up to get that 2-hour to go up higher into positive territory. So what are we seeing now? Well, we're seeing a lot of wicks to the upside. You really think the 98% of retail that is holding you really think all the retail traders who are holding 98% of AMC are selling it today for no reason? You really think people are selling this? This could be little trades maybe, but other than that. Keith Gill take his profit is away. Will GME crash? I don't think he will. If anything, he'll take some profit, but I don't think he will. He seems to be fine. He must have been trading really well or something, because maybe he traded during that fake pump so that he could have a big load of money. Maybe he sold some back then and bought back. But some people are suggesting, I need to actually look at it a little closer, but some people are suggesting that he just never sold. He knew that the problem wasn't taken care of and he didn't sell. That's what people are suggesting. I need to actually see if that's true, and that I can maybe see that in his holdings. But other than that, see if there's any buy order for the actual shares. If he didn't have a buy order for the actual shares, then he might have just held the stock the entire time. There you go. I've seen it all. They will keep spoofing until the SEC does something, and that's perfectly fine. We're talking about how to trade it, though. Like, coming in, acing, I appreciate you being here. You're here most of the time, most days lately. But coming in and saying, you're late to the move, do you think that really helps with the problem? I really want you to think about that. Does that help with the problem? If you tell someone you're late on AMC, you should, like, that puts in their mind, like, oh, I shouldn't be a part of this. DC is useless. Institution owned is different from short seller owned. The point is the short sellers do not have the shares. They are having to borrow the shares or naked short on AMC. Who gives a shit about another ticker? The problem is with this ticker in front of us. Short selling does not happen on a different ticker. The short selling that happens on AMC will affect the ticker AMC. That's the only thing you understand. That's all you need to know. Good. I'm proud of that. I'm just saying, be careful with your words a little bit. Words matter, man. Like, we should be saying, we should be informing people. You are someone who has known about it for years and years and years. You might have better info than even I do. I understand it, but maybe you have better info than I do. And I encourage you, share that information in the chat. It's awesome. I appreciate you coming in. I really do. But just because someone's late to the move, right, doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And I just want you to be careful with your words. Just caught Elon's brain chip. Collage comment? Did I talk about college? Or did I talk about my collages? Natural gas, is that dropping off dramatically? Technically, if you wanted to say late to the move, you would say, monthly chart. Actually, you're not. Technically, you would say late to the move. From an investment standpoint, you'd say, no, I'm not. I'm right on time. And in the past, you might have bought way back here. That was the right time, right? November, December, 2020, 2021, January, 2021, all these levels in here were the right time. Now this is the wrong time. Now this is the right time. That's more how we look at it from an indicator perspective. Oh wait, I need to go 15. It's seeing a pop. GME, is that able to curl up? That's going to be a big deal. Look at that. It needs to curl up. Doesn't look like the best buying going on just yet. But during the day is where it's going to be manipulated. It's once they cover. Yeah, when you said you can make cat sounds. Oh yeah. I used to go up to girls and I said, who's got two thumbs, is a good kisser, and can meow like a cat. And then I'd point at myself with my thumbs and go, meow. I'm going to tell you right now, it worked 90% of the time. It worked every time. What's with Nvidia? Is it going to drop? Eventually. Eventually. Is it going to drop, let's say, right now? Well, the 15-minute says pull back, but how's the 30-minute cross? Remember, I like my 30-minute charts. If that 30-minute chart crosses, yeah, there's probably some kind of drop, but it is manipulated to the upside. So I think you got a good shot at creating an overall handle here. But the reason that it's not dropping off is because retail's being smart. Retail knows, and they are on the put side of things, so they don't want to drop it off. The market makers want the market to drop down. They want to drop the market, but right now it's too expensive for them to do so because the put side is up towards 0.97. That's what's funny. See the SPY, it's like, God, I really want to roll over for a pullback, but maybe we just squeeze these guys. Being late to the move, they just need to fine-tune their system. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I would say that if you look at that monthly chart, you are nowhere late to any kind of move. You see a monthly chart like that. Now, I am glad that there are people in here who were part of it early on. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is so fantastic. I think that is so cool. And I really respect the fact that you held through those hard times and you really informed yourself throughout that in order to be like, I do think the problem is still going to be there. I'm going to hold that. I think that's awesome. That's very cool. Let's see. Waiting for SMCI to go down. We can go look at SMCI real quick. 30-minute divergence, rejection divergence. So we just got to see if this 2-hour confirm an upward move. I think you got a good shot to curl down one more time, but if that 2-hour can cross up, it's kind of a confirmation of that 30-minute divergence. And then this sell zone is going to be very important. But XLU on the 2-hour, oof, oof, oof. This is XLU's telling you that they want to bring the market down. They just can't right now. It's too expensive to do so. They need people to buy. They need a few more people to buy calls. It's just not happening on the retail side. We're gonna stay live just a little bit longer here today. If you guys didn't know, I worked a ton yesterday. I was working all day, and then I built my desk last night, and I started to see spots, and I almost like passed out. So I definitely overworked myself yesterday because I do other things than YouTube. I still trade. I still work for a startup on the marketing side, and I got overzealous with it. So I quickly just like walked myself upstairs and laid down, and I just like passed out on the couch. I literally just like laid down for 2 seconds and passed out. So today I most likely, I'll do a live stream at the end of the day. If I see some stuff setting up for the last hour, I will do that. So subscribe and turn on those notifications if you're not already. But just know that's not a guarantee for today. I have to kind of take it easy. My body was really shutting down yesterday. I really overworked myself. So if I feel pretty good today towards the end of the day and I see some setups happening, I will go live. So make sure those notifications are on. Yeah, tired. I've been very tired. I do have the baby girl as well, so obviously that doesn't help with that problem. Doesn't help at nighttime when she's going through a growth period where she's starting to figure stuff out. She's realizing, oh, I'm my own person, and she's very clingy and stuff. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that, because if I don't go live later today, I don't want you guys to be mad. But I will put out a YouTube video tonight regardless. So just know that later today's live stream is not guaranteed. But I will still be posting to Patreon. So if I make an update video for Patreon today, which we might, but I think we'll make that maybe tomorrow. Throw a girl a bag and say, let's make out. See, you got to find something that's just like sets you apart, though. Sets you apart. I appreciate all the great work you're doing. We and your family, don't need you. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I want to keep my brain good, though. I don't want to mix anything up, especially since I'm live and trying to really teach people. Yeah, remember when I traded that one day and I got no sleep and I was just like, man, then I just got out of my trade because I was so tired. I was like, this is not good. Yeah. I had to tell you guys every like 5 minutes, like, take whatever I say today with a grain of salt. I'm very, very tired. And then yesterday I wasn't like that, but once I built this desk, I literally like stood up and I was like, oh, I'm not okay. And then I woke up and I chugged 3 bottles of water, a body armor. I made a smoothie. So I chugged a smoothie and then I ate dinner all within like an hour. So something was just, my body just needed some rest and some nourishment. Like that is the amount of effort I'm putting into this. Like, don't think this is just like, it seems easy, but know that every time I break down just a little stock for you guys, anytime, it takes a little bit of brain power every single time to do that. It's just I do it very quickly. It takes a little bit of effort. Like, I can kick a soccer ball, but every time I kick a soccer ball, my leg gets a little bit more tired. I do like intermittent fasting. Laws is obsessed with his intermittent fasting. I love it. It's very, very good. I'm putting in the effort for you guys. Like I said, I was not lying. If you were part of my YouTube, even I think it was 2 weeks ago when I was moving, I said, I know I haven't been live. I know I haven't been putting out YouTube. I'm still moving. I don't have my setup. And I said, I'm coming back with some fire. I'm going to help you guys as much as I can. I am. So just know, like, my heart is in the right place. I'm trying to help you every single time. If you show me a setup and I don't like it and that makes you upset, just know I am doing in that moment something to really help you out. If you show me a penny stock that just went up 300% and I say you need to wait for a pullback, if you miss the move, you miss the move, that is good. That is a good thing to know as a trader if you're trying to trade these things. It is a good thing to tell you guys, if you notice you are very bad at catching, if you're bad at managing risk, if you're too emotional with the shorter time frames, go to longer ones, man. Life is too short to sit in front of a computer all day, every day. It's what I do. I sit in front of a computer all day, every day. And do I love it? I love chart analysis. I do. But do I, like, even yesterday I told my wife, I was like, I have to take a break. I am just not okay. I'm not doing well. I'm not wanting to look at charts. So I told the YouTube channel, I'm not making a video tonight. I can't do it. Today, I'm like, hey, I wake up and I'm fresh again. And I'm like, God, I love this stuff. After the first day, it gets easy. So intermittent fasting takes about, I think it was 7 to 10 days to really start to affect your body. But what are we noticing with the SPY? Okay, someone said that the put-call ratio just went up to 0.99. Now we have to see, because there could be some, it could just hold here for a long time until they actually get people to take some calls. What are we noticing about XLU? It's going down towards that weekly expected move, right? So if we start to cross below that, if we start to cross over on this 2 hour, we have to say it could come outside of that, right? We're crossing over. We have to see how the next 2 hours goes, right? If that crosses over, we could go make a double bottom or something, and then you have a 68% chance for a bounce. But this is not a good sign. This is not a good sign. The market is only not dropping because the market maker is in trouble. The market makers are in trouble here. They are. They're very much so in trouble because they are actually liable for everything that is happening with AMC and GME because they are the ones creating the contracts that have the naked short selling. That is why E-Trade is going after Keith Gill. That is why E-Trade is going after Roaring Kitty. They are liable for what is going on with AMC and GME, so they are trying to pin it on him right now. It makes total sense. Not true? Oh, so it is just a 24-hour flip. So your body reacts pretty much right away. Hey, that's good. I don't have a problem with like weight or anything like that. I have a problem. I'm a very bad eater. So with intermittent fasting, I was better because I was working out all the time when I was a semi-pro soccer player. But once I switched to now, I need to eat more often. If you guys want to learn about just, if you think I've been through, if you don't know anything about the stress I've been through over the last year, all you need to know is I used to weigh 180 pounds. Now I weigh 155. Now I weigh 155, and my wife sees pictures of myself, and my mother-in-law, my abuela, the Abu, she says Luke needs to gain weight. And it's because I'm doing so much all the time. So I'm just a very bad eater. I have ADHD, which also doesn't help the problem because I get distracted. So I'm trying to gain weight, so that's why my wife brings me sandwiches on stream a lot. Makes me smoothies and stuff. Yeah, I used to do 16-8. That's when I did intermittent fasting. I did 16-8. But that was when I was working out a ton. I was always super hungry around that time, and I would eat a good amount. I need to switch back to my high protein diet, my high protein, high fat diet, and then that really helped me out. Protein shakes really helped me gain weight. Yeah, no sugar is very good too. Sugar is actually the most poisonous thing. Magnesium deficiency, lack of sleep. So I need magnesium. Oh my God, that's what my wife's mom says all the time. She goes, "You need magnesium." She goes, "Take magnesium." She always gives me the bottle. She goes, "Take magnesium." Yeah, I used to be jacked. I think I still have a six-pack maybe, but that's like a skinny six-pack now. I used to be pretty strong. So if you want to talk about it, it's like out of all my friends, I have friends that are, 6'2". Most of the people I hang with are like 6'2". They probably weigh over 200 pounds. One of my buddies is probably like 230, big football coach guy, 240. And I punch harder than all of them. We do those punch machines and I punch harder than all of them, which is cool. But he could probably, beat the crap out of me, but I'm just like, haha, I can punch harder than you. I need to take magnesium then. I really do. I have such trouble sleeping. I think due to my ADHD, I literally lay down at night and I'm like, I could watch the futures market. I lay down at night and I'm like, I wonder what's happening with GME. Like that's what goes through my brain. Or I lay down at night and I'm like, man, my wife was stressed out all day. I wonder how I could help her out with the baby tomorrow. Like that's the stuff that runs through my head. It's always something that I have to do, and I need to figure out how to tame that a little bit. APLD, let's go look at a random thing. Let's go look at a random one. No 30-minute divergence yet. But does this look like a good setup yet? Not necessarily, but there might be a swing trade here. If this 2-hour can curl up, you have the swing trade available. I would say you take back this 20, you take back this 50. That curls up on this MACD. It's a swing trade. It looks very, very good for the 2-hour swing trade. So if you can cross up here into positive territory, test the high, go make a new one. That would be pretty good. Maybe you create a head and shoulders here, right? You go like this, big move, and then you build liquidity for a sec, right? Creating something like this. I like it though. I like it if it can confirm everything. If it can confirm everything, I like it. I saw the SPY was starting to sell off. Are the Qs starting to sell off? 30-minute, SPY 30-minute, crossed. Okay. Now we need to see what's XLU doing. It's crossing through, guys. This 2-hour, you might make a 2-hour divergence. We might see another trap to the downside that leads to another upward push. Isn't that crazy? So Nvidia might actually pull back now a little bit. Nvidia might pull back down into this area down here, maybe towards like 1100, where this gap was. Right there. We could see a pullback here. Now it's not pulling back too much, so you know this most likely isn't some kind of crash. Now we want to see what AMC and GME are doing. AMC was up 1.2% right there and just dropped off. So is the 15-minute able to curl up for AMC? That would be pretty bullish. Right now you're still getting this kind of flaggy look to you, so you could see that extend down to 437. Ashwagandha, isn't that the stuff that makes you horny? And ashwagandha helps with and ashwagandha is the thing that like helps with depression but makes you horny. Or something like that. Dr. Eckberg on YouTube. There's some videos on intermittent fasting. Nice. Sleepy and horny. I'm so sorry. No, it flushes the liver. Okay, so that's okay. But ALPD, I do like that look, Scott. You just want to wait for the swing trade to really show up for you on the 2 hour. Eric Berg. My wife had to take ashwagandha for a little bit. I don't remember why, but the doctor suggested she go on ashwagandha for a little bit. I think that was a year ago or so, maybe a year and a half ago. We had a good month. That guy that buy a short-term option with his life savings. He still messages. I need to email him back. He emailed me yesterday. He reapplied. He rolled his position to be further out, and he's paying attention to these signals right now. With all the stress I have, I'm not able to do one-on-one with him, and I can't really, like... Humanity Maga, thank you so much for subscribing. I can't really go in and be like, buy or sell this, switch the position. I can't tell him that info legally. All I can say is, like, it looks like there's crash potential. He told me he rolled the position, which I think is fine. And then we have to see if something bad happens. But it's complicated because he bought at the exact moment we called a short squeeze. All right, on the SPY, where was it? Let's go into like a 2 hour or something so you could see. We called a short squeeze. We started to call a short squeeze down in here, right when this move happened. We said if it goes above this high, we're going to get a short squeeze. We saw volatility drop below the 200. Boom, short squeeze. Okay, we got the short squeeze. He bought a short position right here. So I'm going to email him back today. I didn't have time yesterday, but I'm going to email him back again today. We've been emailing back and forth. I just can't. It's just legally I can't fully give him like what to do. I have to just tell him the signals, and then he has to kind of make the decision himself. And then I can say little things like, yeah, I mean, so it looks like the position, it looks like it could take a little longer to play out. Okay, that kind of is like a roll the position type thing. So he did the right thing. But I said also this could play out very quickly this month. So it really looks like if AMC and GME are able to hold up, that the market could sell off, but I don't think they want the market to sell off yet. It's going to catch up to XLU. They're just waiting for the flip. They need retail buying calls. Same algorithm they've been using since last Friday, exactly. It wants to follow XLU, and it can't right now because it's too expensive to do so. They need to make money. So this is crossed right now, but I want you to see if this holds up. See how it's reacting around the weekly expected move? See how useful having weekly expected moves is? It's doing that very early on Tuesday before even the afternoon. So that can see a bounce. What you need to see here is the 30-minute bounce back up. Maybe the SPY doesn't even catch up to XLU here, and they just squeeze once this happens. We don't know, but the potential for a squeeze is actually higher right now. They may just need to build liquidity. I mean, really, you would say most likely they want to catch up to XLU, but they can't. It's too expensive. Your psychological understanding of the market is what separates you from the rest. Nice work, brother. Thank you, Joe Jax. I really appreciate that. I love psychology. That's actually, I think, why I love stocks, because if you do technical chart analysis, you'll notice that right when everyone is psychologically like, this has to go up, it starts to go down. And that's the kind of the like part that makes me interested, is the psychology aspect of it. Yeah. Joe Jax, thank you so much for the $20. I really do appreciate that. Damn, thank you so much. Everyone give some hell yeahs to Joe Jax in the chat. Say thank you for giving back to the community. That is awesome. Holy crap, thank you. We try not to ask for donations a lot. You donate if you want to donate. If you think the information is helpful, you can donate. We got some donations last week, and I was able to take wifey out for a nice dinner, or for a nice lunch. And it was pretty cool. I really liked it. It was the sandwich thing. It was a premium sandwich looking thing. And it was okay, but the appetizer was worth. So yeah, say thank you so much to Joe Jax in the chat. Thank you, Joe Jax. I really do appreciate it. Every little donation, every little like you give, that is free, right? You're liking the videos. Every little like you give gets me closer to being able to quit this thing over with this startup so that I can really maybe at least be more relaxed on YouTube. Doesn't mean like, hey, maybe more streams. It does mean that, but it might mean I can actually like not have a moment where I'm about to pass out at the end of the day. We aren't as dumb as we used to be, so they are getting dirtier. Yes, that is pretty facts right there. There you go, Joe Jax. Thank you for the super chat. Different apps do give you different data. Yeah, so I don't look at the data on my trading apps at all, right? I just look at it on TradingView. I don't connect it to TradingView. I don't do anything like that. I want to be in control of every little aspect. I don't want TradingView to be selling data of my possible order, right? So a lot of the time I just react in real time. I don't want to give them any hint of what I'm trying to do. I don't want to give them any hint. That is why, even though I encourage you for stop losses and things like that in a trade, that's fine. That's fine. It keeps your risk there, but know that they can take that stop loss out. So I am someone who reacts in real time. I am in full control of my trading. Is it better to look at indicators with extended hours on or off? They show different things for the MACD. What I like to do is I do everything with regular trading hours. I do everything with regular trading hours. And then you can take these things like S&P 500, right? The SPX 500, and you can start to formulate a plan. What did we mention live? I do pay attention to these. I don't use them all the time, but look at this. This is a 2-hour divergence. Boom. This was when we were calling that short squeeze, or we were calling the bear trap. And this was forming at the same time we were looking at all those other pieces of data on Friday. Very, very cool. Enjoy life every day. I love that name. Thank you for subscribing. Really do appreciate it. So I like regular trading hours, but I will be paying attention to futures at certain moments, right? Sometimes on a daily chart, even on a weekly chart, it'll prove things before. This proved on, was this Wednesday, May 29th? Okay, that crossing over. Look at the SPY. Sometimes, right? This didn't cross over until the next day. So this bar kind of helped you in the futures market. That's some little things you can do, but overall, regular trading hours is what I pay attention to. It more helps me with the momentum while they are trying to manipulate the stock. Most of the manipulation happens during market hours, and then it'll happen like maybe an hour before or an hour after close. An hour before the market opens, an hour after close. Hey, Base Mechanic, thank you so much for the $5. Look at that guy dancing there. That's funny. He's working out. And he's working out everything that we should do. We should be working out, be disciplined everywhere. Greetings from Mexico, Daniel. Thank you. Appreciate it. There's that donation. Thank you so much. Everyone say thank you to Base Mechanic there in the chat. Thank you for the $5. Really working. Really thanking you for that. And we're all going to work out because of you. Working out is very important. I have a gym membership. I'm close by now. I'm just, once I can quit this startup, I can start working out again pretty much. So I'm really glad that you guys are really helping out my channel, liking a lot of these videos, and you find the information helpful. That's the main thing. And then once I can turn this into, I can get rid of one of my jobs, that would be amazing. I like multiple streams of income. Trading does very well for me, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to waste my youth. I still like marketing, but I like charts better, so this would be awesome. How can the shorts get away with GME and AMC? The banks will have to pay up. Will this cause a collapse of the banks? Yes, there are 63 banks now in trouble. There are 63 banks now in trouble. They need to somehow come up with $517 billion right now to pay for all of this, and the market makers are in trouble as well. Yes, they are hiding it in the dark pool. So they are hiding it in the dark pool. If you look up short interest, you're only going to see 15, maybe 20 on GME and AMC, we know it's much worse than that. We know it's much worse than that. It's the last person I saw who tried to figure it out said that there could be something around anywhere from 190% short interest to 500% short interest. Like a starter kit to Luke-ass brain. Just become a full-time trader. Yeah, I trade for about... The good part about my trades is a lot of the ones I take are 2 hours, so I can work in between, find the setup, look for a 30-minute divergence for a few hours, and I can keep my trading up on my left screen and work on my main screen, which is very nice, right? Multiple screens. Thank you to my dad. He owns a computer recycling company, so he sells big orders of monitors and computers, mice, keyboards, you name it. He sells those all around the world. XLU is selling off and the SPY wants to catch up. The problem is this right here. This right here. That is the problem. Everyone is buying puts, so they do not want the market to go down. Now, they can force the market down and then just convince everyone they're right. Everyone holds on to their position and then they rip that away. That could be something that happens. Okay, that could be something that happens. Most likely the SPY does catch up to XLU. We see that react down, and then we get some kind of higher low. Some kind of higher low. I can work the open for 90 minutes, hit a trade or two, and call it a day. Who else has that luxury? You're very right. My trades just a lot of my trades will like take 1 day. A lot of the time they'll take just 1 day to play out. I can take profit. But some of my trades do take like 1 to 2 weeks to play out, depending if it's like a longer term play. So very cool. Hey, there you go. Marina saying thank you to Base Mechanic. Thank you again, Base Mechanic. Really appreciate it. And Joe Jacks, $20. My goodness. Thank you guys so much. Let me check. I got to check the PayPal too, because someone else donated as well. The city always tries to invite me to luncheons. Terrence, thank you for joining the Patreon. David and Kautau, I hope I said your name right. I'm so sorry if I butchered it, but thank you so much for trying to take the course. Let me know what you think. And thank you, Gordon. Gordon, thank you for the donation over on PayPal. The link to the PayPal is in the description. But thank you so much. Really do appreciate it, guys. The support is amazing. And as long as you're learning and we're being helpful, that's the overall goal here. And if I'm helpful in the market, right? I'm a free market guy. If I'm helpful enough, then the market will tell me I'm helpful enough by giving me plenty of ad money on YouTube, by donations, by course sales, by all the things that are going out there. And then I can start to really focus in on this and maybe even have some downtime in my life instead of working for that startup, so I don't have another moment where I pretty much black out like yesterday. Why is Apple not following the movement? So most likely they're trying to manipulate Apple up as well. So most likely this is another manipulated one at this point. That's what you would likely think, right? The 15-minute just will not cross over, which could mean a few things. It could mean everyone is trying to short Apple here. So they don't want to force it down and let those people make money. But what if Apple makes a big upward move? Now everyone gets out of shorts and buys calls, and then they rig it, right? They pull it down. That is a possible thing. Now, the other thing is they could make a move down, convince everyone they're right, and then just V-shape it, completely ruining it. But I wonder if this is 0 DTE. You have to look into that. It could be 0 DTE orders. So I'm guessing right now, because the SPY isn't following, the XLU is, we have a lot of 0 DTE for downside right now, and they need people to give up on that. Once people give up on that, we'll most likely see the PCC go back down a little bit, and then they can finally start to pull back the market. Right? This is really, really high. This is good for what we're talking about, but we can pay attention to this now. Now we know calls are getting pretty cheap. Calls are getting pretty cheap. The market is going down, right? The market is going down. The dollar is starting to go down while the market goes down. That could be buying. That could be insider buying right now. But it did go down with this little push. That could just be retail. Dollar, we just went over that just a tiny bit there. And gold, dollar. We can look at gold again real quick. I'll look at the short volume, see if that's important. We still might come live later today. Gold 30-minute divergence is there. If that crosses up, ooh, now you got this 2 hour that was gonna cross down, I believe. Did it cross down? That was gonna cross down. You might get a rejection divergence here. Not really showing on the 2 hour, but you see it on the 30-minute. Gold looks like if it can curl up, it's going to see some upside. And I bet money that that thing is going to rip higher than this high. Doesn't have to though. I have to follow my signals. Yeah, and I'm wondering the manipulation behind IWM as well, because IWM is going to be interesting with the whole GME and AMC thing. As of right now, there was our push. That's great. That is great. Now 2 hour divergence. This is probably what the market should do. Now you have a 2 hour divergence down here. IWM might catch a bid in this buy zone, might catch a bid. If that turns back up, you might actually see IWM head up. Let's look at the daily scale here for IWM. IWM looks like the daily could roll up if you complete that 2 hour divergence, head up towards the weekly expected move upside, or maybe the weekly expected move for next week, right? We see this prolonged move, and then we see that drop off. It's not going to be one straight shot. Nothing's going to be easy. They're not going to give it to us very easily. 30-minute, we just want to see if this is able to roll over. All right, so let's try to do a little bit of a breakdown here, okay? Let's start some kind of breakdown. Remember, this is overall what we're paying attention to for the SPY. Very important if you didn't watch this live to pay attention to this point right here. The 30-minute looks like it needs to roll over. They want to roll the market down. XLU is telling you the correct direction is down, but now XLU is bouncing, okay? So if they want to, if XLU just starts to catch a bid, well, the reason that the SPY is not going down right now is because the PCC, the puts are very, very expensive, so they don't want to push the market down, right? The puts are already there, so that means calls are cheaper, so they don't want the market to go down. They need retail to start to buy calls in order to bring that market down. The market makers is who I'm talking about when I say they. Okay, so just know that this doesn't have to catch up to XLU in this case, because it would actually benefit them to just squeeze this right now. We're paying attention to that. But notice that the Qs, the same thing with the SPY, the 30-minute is very close to negative territory. If that rolls over, you will see it most likely catch up to XLU. Now notice XLU gave us a higher low. So most likely in this scenario, maybe we still can go down to the weekly expected move. The Qs definitely can, but we could get some kind of higher low. So what would that look like? Well, that means that this rolls down, but then just rolls right back up into positive territory. We see some kind of dramatic thing like this. I think that is very likely to happen for the SPY and the Qs. Apple, someone just mentioned Apple, the 30-minute trying to roll over. This isn't really divergence up here on the 30-minute. You are down a little bit lower. So this has curled down. It says pullback incoming, but there's probably a bunch of shorts on the retail side for Apple right now, so they don't want to bring it down. That is very important to understand. Every single move is going to be rigged. Now, the 15-minute has not curled over. Maybe when that does curl over, it's flipped and they do bring it down, or they just bring it down so people think they're right and they V-shape it, okay? We'll pay attention to that. We can pay attention to XLU to see if that's happening. I still think the 30-minute curling down is a very likely scenario. It curls down and then this becomes more clear, right? More clear. This is what you want to see, something very clear. If it's not clear, I do not take the trade. I am patient, very patient, okay? And something that is not clear is Tesla. Tesla is not very clear. It's not curling up on the 30-minute. We have to talk negatively about Tesla right here, but they don't want it to break through these levels. They do not want it to probably break through 174.20, and then ultimately you don't want it to break through 173.40. Those are two important levels, but 30-minute curls up here, positive territories right there. We can see a positive move, okay? Just be careful with it. It doesn't look like the best thing in the world. Amazon, this one here could go make a new base, right? Nothing's stopping it. So at this point, if this curls over, that means negativity. You're in negative territory. But if there's a bunch of shorts on this right now, they don't want to pull this back yet. Now, if they do, that could mean it could be brief, right? A higher low. A higher low fakes out a lot of people to the downside because a lot of them play this level here, and we know, hey, XLU just made that higher low, so maybe we start to see that in individual stocks. Nvidia, yes, we do have a little bit of a look of a double top, but what we also could say is to the bull side, we actually do have this overall cup and handle that could form, and we're holding up pretty well. So if this 30-minute never crosses over, that would mean, hey, upside potential. And the 15-minute here may just keep curling down, get close to that center line, and then we curl up in positive territory. As of right now, you have a divergence, so you have to pay attention on the 15-minute to this going negative. But I think we're going to see this maybe go negative briefly, turn right back up. I still think another push higher is there. It doesn't matter what I think, though. If we start to confirm things to the downside, we have to pay attention, and we want to just see how we can get faked out. That's where managing the risk can come in. AMD, oh yeah, and the ultimate signal for Nvidia for some more dramatic downside is going to be a 2-hour chart. It's going to be the 2-hour able to curl up, positive territory. Now, a lot of the time we need a 30-minute divergence to curl up the 2-hour. So this could drop all the way down to here and then give us a 30-minute double bottom, and then we start to head up. That could happen. Don't be ignorant to it. Just think of all the scenarios that can happen. Follow your signals. You'll be just fine. We're trading like water. So what do we want to look at here? The 2-hour crossing up. I think the 2-hour crossing up is the signal to wait for. And then you see something like this. I think it's going to be very clear. I will post it to Patreon. If I end up not going live later today and this sets up, I will post when I took that trade. And I'll circle the bar that I get in on. AMD starting to break down, really liking this 160.83 level. Notice we've broken below there a few times, a lot of fake outs at that level. So we want to see if that 2-hour can roll back up. Right now, the 30-minute, I'm assuming that is negative, and we're seeing a bunch of little divergences down here. We see one right now. We see one right now, and this is what I'm saying. This here, if this just turns up, that divergence completes, you might see a big upward move. You might curl up that 2-hour, okay? So pay attention to AMD. The thing to pay attention to for downside for AMD is going to be triple divergence right by the center line. It's going to be nice. It's going to look good. Meta, that's if it forms, guys, right? Meta right now, you have the potential for some kind of divergence right now. We have that double top divergence, but this looks like it could be cup and handle. So if that 2-hour does not confirm that, well, then I want to be making sure to pay attention to how I can get screwed. If it's not going to confirm that, one, it's not telling me to take a trade. The 30-minute here can just keep messing around, get close to the center line, and then we see a pop going into Wednesday. We'll have to see what is going to happen from here, okay? Lastly, I know we talked about like SMCI and stuff like that, so we'll talk about it for a moment here. You have 30-minute divergences. If that goes positive, you can dip down one more time, but if that goes positive, 2-hour can get up here, but it really looks like a lower high is coming in, right? Sell zone, that starts to sell off. So pay attention to that. Mara, another one. This is reacting. This is curling up on the MACD as of right now. We've been saying for Mara a lot lately, hey, watch out for a divergence that is in this sell zone. That is going to be very important. If you're trading Mara, I highly encourage you week by week to make a weekly expected move. If you don't know how to make a weekly expected move, take the course. It'll give you a very easy way to give you a pretty damn accurate one using something like Robinhood. You can use any platform. I use my fun account to show you guys how to do stuff. Now, the Bitcoin, we can talk about that for a second here. Look at that. We got the pullback. Now we have potential divergence, so we could see this start to roll over. Just be cautious. But let's see if this daily is able to roll up. This daily looks like it wants to roll up for a little bit of time. So if Bitcoin's reacting up, usually the market will follow this later on. So I think we still get some kind of reaction up in the market. It just might take some time to follow Bitcoin. Watch out up here if you see this divergence. This divergence here, it's still very close to the center line. Now we're close to the center line. We could see some kind of rug pull from Bitcoin. Now, that's not to say it has to. If there is going to be some major good price action for it, awesome. Then this will complete maybe, but then just roll right back up in positive territory, right? We'll see something like this, maybe a pullback, and then we rotate back up. It's perfectly fine. You just want to pay attention to how you can get screwed, and you'll be just fine. Now, let's talk about AMC real quick. AMC on the daily, where is it? It's still in pullback area, and it's trying to curl back up. So I want to see this 30-minute curl up. I want to see this 30-minute curl up. I really, really do. I think that that would be a confirmation of some kind of upward move for AMC. This is how we learn about these moments. The 15-minute right by the center line. You can even pay attention to the 15-minute. If we see a curl up sometime today, just pay attention. You have a lot of time left in the day. What if that turns back down? Okay, so if this curls up, that's a good thing. It means positivity can come. But if this just goes like this and rolls back down, well, then your MACD is going to tell you that's not the exact moment, and we might see a bigger pullback, still kind of leaning towards AMC going down to 437, pulling back that 30-minute. Okay, same kind of thing for GME, except it's a little more negative now than AMC. So AMC actually looks like it's holding up better on a 15-minute. The 30-minute is very close to the center line now. We're getting closer and closer. We could go fill this gap and then see something pop. All right, you just want to pay attention when this 30-minute crosses up. That is your indicator telling you momentum has flipped to the upside in positive territory. That's a very good thing. Don't pay attention to anything you're seeing on Twitter that says that this is dead. They are shills. This is not dead. If anything, the daily looks like it wants to cross up in positive territory. This is not dead. Maybe earnings kind of throws us for a loop. We have to be careful around earnings. It's a 50-50 flip. I'm still going to hold this thing through earnings. Don't worry about it. That's what I'm doing. Meme coin traders, we're not trading based on any, I mean, we're talking about momentum. If you can't understand that, then congratulations. That's perfectly fine with me if you can't understand that, but we're talking about momentum here. Nobody's being annoying in my chat. My chat's awesome. Nobody's sitting there just going like, oh, buy this, buy this, buy this. They're just like, hey, cool. Like, momentum looks good. Okay, looks good. We're doing exactly what we do for any other stock is what we're doing for AMC and GME. Sorry, that was my eye. It squeaks when I itch it. How long should expiration be on this, do you think? I assume everyone is buying Nvidia calls following the split. No one is shorting Apple. I mean, that might be true. You might be right. How do you know that for a fact? Where's your info? See, that's the thing. You can type something on the internet. Where's your info? Type your info, and then I'll look at it, and then I'll be happy to join you in that assessment. But for now, I can't join you on that assessment. And also, the reason I'm not answering your question about how long should expiration be on this, you think, is because you came in and you were a douche. You do not get any analysis from me, my friend. Not my friend. If you come in and you're a douche and then you try to ask me a question and then you're a douche, you don't get anything. You get what you give. You gave douche, so you get nothing. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to leave the stream on just for a little bit here. Maybe you guys can vote real quick. What do you guys want to leave us on? You want to just leave it on the SPY? The SPY looks pretty interesting right now. SPY looks pretty interesting. Maybe we see this roll over on a 30-minute. We see that pull back. And then XLU, what is that doing? Well, it's trying to hold up at that weekly expected move. Look at that. That's why we use weekly expected moves. Very, very good. Sleep well. Yeah, I'm not going to sleep today. I got work to do. Probably trades to look at. I got to keep my eye on Nvidia for a little bit. But what are we noticing here? SPY, really pay attention if this thing starts to pull back, starts to curl back up. I think that's very possible for today. Thank you guys so much for joining today. I'll just leave you guys on the SPY so you can watch it for a little bit. See if that thing wants to curl back up into positive territory on a 30-minute. Would be a good sign that we're going to see an upward move as we are in positive territory. And thank you so much, Destiny, for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here today. I wish you nothing but luck on all your trades for the rest of the day. Turn those notifications on. I might go live later today if I'm feeling good. Just trying to take care of my health for a little bit. Yesterday kind of threw me for a loop. So thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the donations, taking the course. If you need to learn or anything like that, it's $100. I'm probably going to leave it up for all of June, but the sooner you get it, the sooner that you can start to really practice it maybe, and then practice the emotional side by taking real trades. So thank you guys so much. Trader95126, thank you for subscribing as well. And thank you guys. I'll leave you on the SPY for a little bit here. You guys can stay in here and chat amongst yourself. I'm going to leave it on here for about 20 more minutes. All right? Until next time, until maybe later today or on YouTube later today, peace. I gotta go buy some almonds then. I'm gonna go right now. All my links to everything are in the description, just so everyone knows. All right. See you guys. Have a good day.